So, ladies and gentlemen, namaskar and good evening once again to all our esteemed guests present here today. I am Vatsala Misra, and I am privileged to serve as the compeer for the Institute Foundation Day program today. This day, the 2nd of November 2021, which marks the completion of 62 years of registration of the Institute under the Societies Act in 1959, and it is now being observed as the Institute Day now. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Professor Abhay Karandikar, Director, Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, the Institute community, and also on my personal behalf, I extend a very warm welcome to our Honorable Minister of Education, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, our guest of honor, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman Board of Governors, Iit Kanpur, our distinguished alumni, faculty members, staff and students, and all other well-wishers, including the press present here today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for having taken out the time from your busy schedules to share our joy with us here today. On behalf of the Institute, I would like to also congratulate and extend a very warm welcome to the recipients of the Institute Fellow Award, the Distinguished Alumnus Award, the Satyen K. Dubey Memorial Award, the Distinguished Service Award, and the Young Alumnus Award, who have joined us from across the globe for the 62nd Institute Foundation Day celebrations this year, 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to request Professor Jain Singh, Dean of Resource and Alumni, to take his seat on the dais, please. I request Professor Debashish Kundu, Dean of Faculty Affairs, to kindly take his seat on the dais. And now, I request Professor S. Ganesh, Deputy Director, IIT Kanpur, to kindly come on stage and please be seated. I would like to request Director, IIT Kanpur, Professor Abhay Karandikar, to please take his seat on the dais now. And now, I humbly request our guest of honor, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, to kindly grace the stage with his presence. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin our program, I would like to request Professor Karandikar to kindly present a plant sapling to our guest of honor, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan ji. Get the plant sapling, please. Sir, kindly accept this as a token of our gratitude to you and also as a symbol of our commitment to preserve the environment. And now, humbly I request our guest of honor, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Professor Karandikar, Professor Ganesh, Professor Kundu, and Professor Singh to kindly come for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, which symbolizes knowledge and wisdom. Ladies and gentlemen, since ancient times, the people of Bharat have observed the sacred custom of lighting a lamp at the commencement of any auspicious occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, since ancient times, the people of Bharat have observed the sacred custom of lighting a lamp at the commencement of any auspicious occasion. In Indian philosophy, light or jyoti is worshipped as a symbol of prosperity and abundance, of life and hope, dispelling all darkness and replacing it with energy, vivacity, optimism, and happiness. Shubham karoti kalyanam आरोग्यम धन संपदा शत्रु बुद्धि विनाशाय दीपम ज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते दीपम ज्योतिर्नमोस्तुते. Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, another excellent tradition that we have here in India is to invoke Ma Saraswati, goddess of learning and knowledge, for her blessings at the beginning of an auspicious occasion, cultural or religious, with the Saraswati Vandana. Following this tradition, I call upon Srimati Pragya Khandekar, resident of our campus, to kindly come on stage and recite the Vandana. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request all of you to please kindly stand for the Vandana.
Shuklam Brahma Vicharasar Parama Adya Jagadvyapinim Veena Pustaka Dharinim Abhayadam Jadyandhakara Haste Spartikamalikam Vidadhatim Padmasane Samstitam Vande Tam Parameshwarim Bhagavatim Buddhi Pradam Sharadam Buddhi Pradam Sharadam Buddhi Pradam Sharadam. Om Nada Brahma.
Thank you, Pragya ji. And now, without taking any more of your precious time, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite Director Iit Kanpur, Professor Abhay Karandikar, to kindly welcome our guest of honor, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, and all our respected guests and dignitaries present here today for the 62nd Institute Day celebrations. Professor Karandikar.
Respected Dr. Radhakrishnan, Chairperson Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, my colleague Professor S. Ganesh, Deputy Director, IIT Kanpur, Professor Kundu, Dean of Faculty Affairs, Professor Jayan Singh, Dean of Resources and Alumni, all other deans, heads of departments, members of Board of Governors, respective institute fellow awardees, awardees of Distinguished Alumnus Award, Distinguished Services Award, Young Alumnus Award, Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award, members of faculty, alumni, staff, student community, and all the members who are physically present here and who are joining us virtually today. A very good evening, and all to my friends from the United States, a very good morning. I heartily welcome you all to the 62nd Foundation Day celebration of Indian Institute of Technology, IIT Kanpur. I would also like to thank Honorable Minister of Education and Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji. Due to his other commitments, though he is not physically present with us today, but he has sent his good wishes, and we will soon see the recorded message. Friends, past 2 years have been trying times due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to considerable disruptions in day-to-day activities. Specifically, the second wave of the COVID hit the campus very badly, like in the rest of the country. I would also like to take a moment here and express my deepest condolences to those members of our campus community who lost their loved ones in the battle against COVID. In these difficult times, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to all the faculty, students, and staff of the Institute for their immense cooperation that they have extended in academic matters and campus management activities. The shift to online teaching was challenging both for students and faculty. The lockdown and campus closure also caused considerable distress to our PhD scholars and research students. However, despite all the odds, we, the IITK fraternity, stood together. I am indeed grateful to the entire campus community for standing behind the Institute administration. While the world is slowly getting back to normal this year, we are celebrating the Foundation Day in a hybrid mode, and I sincerely hope that we will be able to celebrate it fully, physically, next year. As all of you know, IIT Kanpur was established on 2nd November 1959. The strong foundation led by the visionary leadership of Professor P.K. Kelkar as the founding director continues to guide us. Over the years, the Institute has gained a legendary reputation through its academics, innovations, research, and societal contributions made by the concerted efforts of our faculty, students, staff, and alumni. On this momentous occasion of the Foundation Day, we rededicate ourselves to the ethos of IIT Kanpur. Irrespective of the challenging situation amidst the pandemic, I am delighted to share that our faculty and students have contributed immensely in helping nation fight the COVID pandemic through several innovative research projects. The design development of large-scale production of high-end yet affordable ventilator, which has now been deployed in more than 3,000 hospitals across the country, is one such example. National Sutra model for the accurate prediction of COVID-19, even up to the district level, was another example where IIT Kanpur contributed to the nation and the societal efforts. Unmanned aerial vehicles for delivering drugs and vaccines in partnership with the Indian Council of Medical Research, and creating a platform for MSME and startups for developing high quality and rapidly scalable oxygen generation units, were some of the remarkable contributions by our faculty and students. Sir, I am proud to mention that the Technology Business Incubator of IIT Kanpur has achieved a historic milestone of 100+ startups in its portfolio with a combined valuation of more than 1,000 crores. The incubated companies are working across multidisciplinary domains like healthcare, agri-tech, clean tech, AI, and waste to value. On achieving this milestone, on behalf of the Institute and on my own personal behalf, I would like to thank the contributors, partners, and all benefactors who have graciously added value to our incubation ecosystem being nurtured at the Institute. First expanded its operations to foster social transformation in the tribal communities of Chhattisgarh, which was supported by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs under the project Tech for Tribals. I am very delighted to share with you that the team supported tribal entrepreneurship by providing training and processing of forest produce and implementing various technological interventions that have enabled value addition. We aim to facilitate our next generation innovators with the support of our government and private partners, realizing our vision of making India a global manufacturing hub through consistent, honest efforts. The tremendous efforts of our faculty and staff in enhancing our academics and research activities have resulted in improving our ranking performance. I'm delighted to share with you that IIT Kanpur has been ranked 5th for the first time in the overall category and 4th in the engineering category of NIRF ranking 2021. During the past 1 year, several new initiatives have been undertaken to strengthen our academics and research in the long run. We have established 2 new departments, Department of Sustainable Energy Engineering, which will focus on becoming a vital contributor to nation's growing clean and renewable energy sector by generating high quality scientific and technological know-how and human resources. Interdisciplinary program in cognitive science was also converted into a full-fledged department of cognitive science. Going forward, I am delighted to let you know that the formation of 2 new departments have been recently approved by the Academic Senate, Department of Space Science and Astronomy, and transforming our already existing design interdisciplinary program into Department of Design. Sir, we have been working on setting up the School of Medical Research and Technology with super specialty hospital on the campus. We believe that this school is expected will bring together the expertise of technology innovations, biomedical research and clinical setup under a single umbrella to create a one-of-its-kind world-class medical school. On this occasion, I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished alumnus, Mr. Mukesh Bansal, for believing in our ambition and contributing generously towards setting up the SMRT at IIT Kanpur. Fundraising for SMRT has gained tremendous momentum recently, and we have received multiple commitments of generous donations. I'm delighted to share that last week we have signed a MOU with JK Cement Limited, contributing 60 crore rupees for setting up the super specialty hospital as the part of the SMRT. Further, it is my pleasure to tell you about yet another major donation. We have signed an MOU with IBM, where IBM is extending financial assistance of $5 million towards building academic block of SMRT. I'm extremely grateful to our distinguished alumnus, Dr. Arvind Krishna, chairman of IBM, who played a significant role in enabling this. In the same way, REC Foundation has committed financial assistance of 14 crores under its CSR program. Again, I am thankful to our alumnus, Mr. Sanjay Malhotra, chairman and managing director of REC Limited, for this generous support. In addition to SMRT, Mr. Mukesh Bansal has contributed towards setting up of the Shivani Center for Nurture and Reintegration of Hindi and other Indian languages. We believe that the center will bring a paradigm shift in educational practices by ensuring seamless integration of Hindi and other Indian language students at the institute to fulfill the objectives laid out in the National Education Policy. Chandrakanta Keshwan Center for Energy Policy and Climate Solutions has been established with generous support of another of our alumnus, Mr. Sudhakar Keshwan. The center is expected to spearhead energy and climate policy solutions to help India address climate change related problems and to emerge as a platform for bringing together eminent academics, technologists, researchers and policy makers on the same platform. Recently, the institute has also launched e-masters program in various disciplines for upskilling industry professionals. These industry-focused programs are designed not just to help build new capabilities, but also expand career options in various state-of-the-art areas. I am also delighted to share that the Academic Senate of IIT Kanpur has approved a comprehensive student entrepreneurship policy, which is intermeshed with academic pursuit. It is also aligned with National Innovation and Startup Policy of the Government of India, making it another path-breaking milestones, which opens up new and exciting paradigms for our students. As a part of the Undergraduate Academic Review Committee report, new transformative reforms in undergraduate curriculum with much needed flexibility to the system have also been recently undertaken. The transformation template for undergraduate education will include many innovative and disruptive features, such as opportunities for student exchange across institutions for master's program as part of the bachelor's master's dual degree program, academic credits for approved entrepreneurial activities and learning done in the industry setup, and an exit option degree for those students who want to leave the program in between. Our students have brought acclaim to India at both national and international level. With these changes, we believe that we will empower our students even more so that IIT Kanpur emerges as the preferred institute for its programs, facilities, faculty, and above all, for its adaptability to the changing times. It goes without saying that alumni of IIT Kanpur have always felt the strong association with the institute and have helped in giving back to their alma mater. Several magnificent structures have been built on the campus with the support of alumni, and more recently today we will see that the central library pond has been now redone again with the support from 1979 and 1995 batch alumni. In addition to donation for infrastructure, a large number of faculty chairs, student scholarships, research fellowships, department grants have been set up with the huge support received from our alumni. More recently, Bright Mind Scholarship Program with generous support from Lokveer Kapoor to tap top 100 AIR students in JEE is an example of many of such initiatives. I must mention here that the establishment of IIT Kanpur Development Foundation has brought great impetus to the fundraising activities. We have already received 75 crores in this financial year and expect that at the end of the financial year, this amount will touch 160 crores. Through IITK DF, we have enhanced our professional connect with the alumni. I also express my deep sense of gratitude to IITK Foundation in US and all its present and past leadership who have played pivotal role in engaging the institution with all US-based alumni. Once again, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the recipients of Institute Fellow, Distinguished Alumnus, Distinguished Services, Young Alumnus, and Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Awards. We are indeed proud of the stellar achievements of our alumni and faculty in different fields, which keep the IIT Kanpur flag flying high. Finally, I would like to express my deep sense of gratitude to our chairman, Dr. Radhakrishnan, who has supported each of our initiatives. His mentorship has helped Institute achieve remarkable growth in the last 3 years. My special thanks to all current and former BOG members who have provided invaluable guidance. I would also like to take this opportunity to applaud all faculty members, staff, and students for their passionate commitment and untiring efforts. Best wishes. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor Karandikar. And moving on, I would like to request Professor Ganesh to kindly introduce our respected guest of honor, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, and request him to address the audience.
Indeed, it's my pleasure and privilege to introduce Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairman, Board of Governors of IIT Kanpur, and the guest of honor for the 62nd Foundation Day celebration of our institute. Dr. K. Radhakrishnan needs no introduction to the audience here. However, for the benefit of the students who have joined us in the last year, let me provide a brief about his illustrious career and his contribution to the country, especially in the space science technology. Dr. Radhakrishnan joined the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, in the year 1971 and headed the ISRO from 2009 to 2014 as its chairman. Prior to this, he was the director of the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center and director of the National Remote Sensing Agency, and also the Indian National Center for Ocean Information Service. Dr. Radhakrishnan has a unique combination of engineering and management in his educational career. He holds a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Kerala University and master's in management from IIM Bangalore and a PhD from IIT Kharagpur. Dr. Radhakrishnan played a major role in transforming ISRO into one of the top-ranked space research organizations in the world, and many of its unique distinctions that we came to come to know. Under his leadership, ISRO successfully completed 37 space missions, including the Mars Orbiter mission, flying Indian cryogenic engine GSLV, a re-entry experiment of an unmanned crew module, and a new space capabilities for navigation, communication, and microwave radar imaging. Importantly, Dr. Radhakrishnan was instrumental for formulating and executing an inclusive organizational process to nurture young leaders for carrying forward the legacy of ISRO, and continues to play an active role in ISRO as an advisor. For his contribution to the space technology, the Government of India has conferred him with Padma Bhushan Award in the year 2014. With this very brief introduction, I request Dr. Radhakrishnan to address the gathering. Dr. Radhakrishnan.
Honorable Union Minister of Education and Chief Guest of the day, Sri Dharmendra Pradhanji, Honorable Union Minister of Railways, Communications, Electronics and IT, Sri Ashwini Vaishnav, and all the esteemed members of the IITK fraternity being decorated this evening. And importantly, members of their family. Eminent members of the Board of Governors, the admired Director, Professor Abhay Karandikar, Adept Deputy Director, Professor Ganesh, beloved Deans, particularly Professor Debashish Kundu and Professor Jayan Singh, erudite senators, academics, alumni, students, staff members, friends from the media. My greetings to all of you on this Foundation Day of IIT Kanpur. I'm pleasantly privileged to be associated with this premier institution for the last 3 years. And one thing that I see, a common thread between ISRO and IITK is the institutional ethos that the founders have given to these institutions. Professor Kelkar is synonymous with IITK. He had a vision of what a student of IITK should be. Not just an engineer, but a person, a complete person, a person who is integrated with the humanity. And that's what the outcome from this institution to the society, nationally, internationally. The spirit of IITK. And I see that spirit is intact. We also have a global network of alumni in influential positions, in industry, in academia, in government. And it is noteworthy that today in the Government of India system, many of our alumni are engaged in very important positions. And two of them are here to show you the example, Mr. Saurabh Chandra and Professor Ashutosh Sharma. So this is the branch IITK that we have established over these last 6 decades. And personally for me at this phase of my life and career, this provided a platform to renew myself. In an ambience of brilliance, that's what we see, and also team up with the ebullient board of governors, the director, deputy director, deans, and many of the faculty members. And we are all putting our efforts together to raise the level of IITK for national significance and relevance and international prominence. Director just now mentioned about the different yardsticks that have been used to see where we are nationally and globally. It's very heartening to see that the term used, Institute of Eminence in this country, and a few have been identified. IIT Kanpur, the fourth IIT, is on the threshold to put its claim now. And I wish that soon we will have that good news that IITK joins Bombay, Delhi, and Madras as an institute of eminence, and I wish all the best to the director and his term for this. Academic excellence apart, if you look at the faculty performance in terms of the publications, the research, membership in various national, international academies, and the coveted national awards, including Padma Awards, we have a place of pride. And also for the National Education Policy 2020, as he mentioned, proactively, many steps have already been taken. And I'm sure that IITK is going to be a role model for several institutions in this area. An e-masters program was a recent addition. Also, the departmentalized focus on sustainable energy and cognitive sciences. And he mentioned a few more are on the anvil. In this institute, we have a technopark at IITK, and also an SIIC, that is Startup Innovation Incubation Center. They have been very vibrant, especially during the pandemic situation. The spontaneity with which the whole team came up to make the ventilator, as he mentioned, is something praiseworthy. Human lives are dependent on that system produced in 90 days by a group of people from the institutions, industry, and also the alumni network. And many of your veterans have contributed to realize this. And the Sutra model, which is used by the government. So these are some of the things which gives that indication, the USP of the IIT. The IITK Foundation, which has come up in a very major way. The National Center of Excellence in Geodesy has come up. The Technology Innovation Hub. The cybersecurity related aspects are studied by this hub today, and the Smart Grid Control Center. And a mega initiative that this institute has piloted now is SMRT, the School for Medical Research and Technology, which combines the engineering talent, the established expertise in biomedical research in this institute, and what more needs to be brought to enhance the level of research and also medical technology. And we are in a country where almost 70 to 80% of the medical equipment are still imported. I should thank, through this platform, the generosity of the alumni who have been contributing, and especially as he mentioned, for the SMRT, Mickey Pang, as well as JK, have generously contributed, along with several others. And I am sure that in the coming years, the flag of IITK will be flying high, the brand IITK will go up, and we have collectively a responsibility to enhance the technology security of the country, which is the need of the hour. And this institute and its alumni in India and abroad could collectively play a very major role. Thank you, and I take this opportunity to congratulate all the awardees who are present here and participating in this program online. And I also wish to express our gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Education, who will be addressing soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will move to the first part of the felicitations this evening and honor 3 of our esteemed faculty members and 1 of our past distinguished alumnus awardee for their outstanding contributions to the Institute. For this segment, I would like to request Professor Debashish Kundu, Dean of Faculty Affairs, to kindly come forward and read the citations for the Institute Fellows.
Good afternoon. I'm really delighted to welcome our Honorable Minister of Education and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Honorable Chairman of Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Director IIT Kanpur, Professor Abhay Karandikar, Deputy Director, Professor Ganesh, Dora, Dr. Jayant Singh, Institute Fellow Awardees, Distinguished Alumni Awardees, Young Distinguished Alumni Awardees, faculty and staff member and students. In the last almost 1.5 years, we are going through an unprecedented time. Last year, we could not celebrate our Foundation Day physically. This year, we are celebrating it in a hybrid mode. And as Professor Karandikar has mentioned, I also sincerely hope next year we'll be again going back to the fully physical mode. We are celebrating our 62nd Foundation Day. During the last 6 decades, IIT Kanpur has grown up leaps and bounds, and we have reached this status due to dedicated efforts by several distinguished faculty and alumni. By a token of appreciation, we are conferring Institute Fellow Awards this year to 4 of our distinguished associated members. Our first awardee is Mr. Jagjit Singh Bindra. He is at US at this moment, so he will not be present physically, but he'll be giving his acceptance speech through video. Mr. Jagjit Singh Bindra graduated from IIT Kanpur in 1969 with BTech in Chemical Engineering. He earned his Master's in Chemical Engineering and MBA from the University of Washington, Seattle, and from St. Mary's College in California, respectively. He is a Diamond Award recipient of the University of Washington College of Engineering, as well as a distinguished alumnus of IIT Kanpur. In recognition of his stellar contribution to the Institute, IIT Kanpur takes great pride in honoring Mr. Jagjit Singh Bindra as an Institute Fellow for the year 2020.
Honorable Minister Pradhan, Director Professor Karandikar, Deans, members of the faculty and friends, greetings from California. I'm humbled beyond words. This is a huge honor. Let me start by thanking my colleagues who nominated me and the selection committee for considering me worthy of this recognition. I'm also thankful to my family, especially my wife, for her unquestionable support. Over the years, I have on many occasions reflected upon my life, especially focusing on the events and people who have had the greatest impact on me and my professional career. A huge amount of credit goes to my parents, who worked hard sacrificed their pleasures to clothe us, feed us, and provide us a good education. They instilled in us values that are the guiding principles for me. Next, I would like to thank the Joshi family of Ranikhet, who inspired and shaped me into a focused student during the 10th through the 12th grades. Following my intermediate education came the biggest change in my life when I came to IIT Kanpur. You couldn't help but be inspired and motivated by the distinguished faculty that taught us. IITK provided us a sense of belonging, gave us a solid educational foundation, enhanced our communication and leadership skills, and propelled us on a path to fulfilling our dreams. Doing a master's at the University of Washington was a piece of cake after that. I feel blessed to be a product of IIT Kanpur and will forever be indebted to this institution. Once again, thank you. I will continue to try my best to prove worthy of this recognition.
I request that director to confer that.
I think I just want to thank Mr. Bindra, who has been awake today. It's 4 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. in the morning in the US. And this really shows that his complete love and passion for the Institute, I think.
Our second awardee this year, Professor Gautam Biswas. Gautam Biswas received his bachelor's degree from Calcutta University in 1979 and master's and PhD from IIT Kharagpur in 1981 and 1985 respectively. He has served in different administrative positions in IIT Kanpur and outside. He was the director of IIT Guwahati and CMRI Durgapur. He is a recipient of several awards and honors. In recognition of his stellar contribution in the fields of fluid mechanics and thermal sciences, his contribution as an academic administrator, and his dedicated service to the Institute, IIT Kanpur takes great pride in honoring Professor Gautam Biswas as an Institute Fellow for the year 2020. I request Professor Gautam Biswas please come to the dais. I request the director to give the shawl. Professor Biswas, if you kindly give your acceptance.
Honorable Minister of Education, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Sri Dharmendra Pradhan ji, Honorable Union Cabinet Minister, Sri Ashwini Kumar Vaishnav ji, respected Chairman, Board of Governors, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan ji, all the respected members of the Board of Governors, respected Director of the Institute, Professor Abhay Karandikar, all the esteemed faculty colleagues, distinguished alumni, all distinguished guests, staff members, and students. I consider myself uncommonly fortunate to receive the coveted award, Institute Fellow 2020 of IIT Kanpur. It's indeed a great honor and a privilege to be counted among the distinguished recipients of this award. For many decades, IIT Kanpur has epitomized quality education and cutting-edge research in science, technology, and humanities. Our commitment to excellence is widely known and appreciated throughout the world. Our students have done miracles in numerous areas of knowledge society and knowledge economy. IITians have created jobs and wealth in India. The contributions of our faculty members and our supporting staff have always been at the highest levels of professional echelon. The glory of this magnificent institution goes hand in hand with the eloquence in the heart of individuals like myself. My personal memoirs of IIT Kanpur comprise a record of many varied sensations, the challenges of academics, the thrill of discovery, the warmth of friendship, the glow of reconciliation, the joy of success. Each is unique in its own way, and all of which I would not exchange for the whole world. I feel fortunate and blessed to be a member of this great IIT Kanpur community, a member of IIT Kanpur family. And so I accept this wonderful award in a spirit of greatest humility and deepest gratification. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for your kind blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Gautam Biswas. Our third awardee for 2020 is Professor Santos Kumar Gupta. Professor Santos Kumar Gupta received his bachelor's degree from IIT Kanpur in 1968 with the President Gold Medal and master's and PhD from the University of Pennsylvania in 1970 and 1972, respectively. He joined IIT Kanpur as a faculty member in 1973 and served it till his superannuation. Professor Gupta has made outstanding contribution in the general area of polymerizations, reaction engineering, and optimization. He is a recipient of several awards and honors. In recognition of his significant contribution to the cause of teaching, research, and developments in the field of chemical engineering, and his dedicated service to the Institute, IIT Kanpur takes great pride in honoring Professor Santos Gupta as an Institute Fellow for the year 2020. Professor Santos Gupta, please take the time. I request the director to give the shawl. Now I request Professor Gupta, please give your acceptance speech.
Honorable Sri Pradhan, who is not here. Thank you, Mr. Director, sir. DD, I can't see him here. All right. Deans, Devashish, he's there? Oh, okay. Devashish and Jayant, and hello everybody in the audience, and of course online. I'm grateful to IITK and all the members of the jury for bestowing on me this honor. I'm not sure if I deserve this, all these kind words, but anyway, let me continue. As per convention, I should be talking about my contributions to research and teaching over the years. Also of the research with and without research students. Indeed, when I returned to IIT Kanpur in July 1973, precisely on 3rd July 1973, there were stalwarts in the department and only about 6 or 7 PhD students as against 100 plus who are now there. Obviously, all of them wanted to work with senior colleagues, and younger faculty like Professors J.P. Gupta, Anil Kumar, Deepak Kunju, and myself, of course, were not lucky in any way. So we decided to get research done from undergraduate students. Professor J.P. Gupta showed the way with the now celebrated K. Vijay Raghavan publishing a paper in a very prestigious journal. Rajiv Goel and Abhay Bhargav, 2 undergraduate students, opted to do their BTech projects with me and Professor Anil Kumar. No wonder our first 50-odd full-length papers were with UG students. C.D. Nayak and Praveen Tandon, again final year students, published 2 papers on simulating nylon 6 systems, and these started our journey. Of course, MTech students joined us soon, and we started publishing with them. PhDs are still very rare, and the total number of PhDs I have produced are very, very small. But most of them adorn faculty positions in R&D organizations and attributed departments. And over the years, we have over 200 research papers. Since we were essentially starved of PhD students when I started, we decided to write books. Some of them are now classic. Fundamentals of Polymer Science and Engineering, published in 1978 by Tata McGraw-Hill, New Delhi, got excellent reviews even abroad, and was used as a reference book at several US universities as well. It also helped us in getting our reaction engineering of step growth polymerization accepted by Plenum Press, New York. The last book was Optimization for Engineers, published by New Age International in a couple of years ago. This intoxication with book writing continues even today. And even now, I'm Several younger colleagues at UPS Dehradun are working on a manuscript. I was quite involved with departmental administrative work also, including being the head. Interestingly, my condition for joining UPS Dehradun was that I will not take any administrative position, but will help building the department, and I think I have. Thank you once again for all this honor, and may God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor Gupta. Our fourth recipient this year is Professor Alok K. Majumdar. Professor Alok Majumdar received his bachelor's and master's degree in physics from Calcutta University and PhD in physics from the Carnegie Mellon University in 1971. He joined IIT Kanpur as a faculty member in 1972 and served it till his superannuation. Professor Majumdar, fondly known as AKM, was a passionate teacher and an exceptional experimentalist. His most significant contribution to the institute and to the physics department was the setting up the low temperature condensed matter experimental research program. In recognition of his stellar contribution in the field of low temperature condensed matter and as an outstanding academician, IIT Kanpur takes great pride in honoring Professor Alok K. Majumdar as an Institute Fellow for the year 2020. Unfortunately, Professor Alok Majumdar has not able to come, and so he'll be giving his acceptance speech to the video.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Since the allotted time is short, let me stick to the essentials only. I am delighted to receive this honor of becoming an IIT Kanpur Fellow from year 2020. I first thank our director, Professor Karandikar, for writing me a nice letter conferring upon me the Institute Fellow Award for the year 2020. Thanks to all of you for honoring me. I can only talk about past happenings. I finished my PhD from Carnegie Mellon University, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, USA in December 1971. Almost right away after the Bangladesh war, I joined IIT Kanpur in January 1972 as a lecturer on a 3-year contract basis with a gross monthly salary of 908. I finally left IIT in February 2006 after 34 years of service. By the way, this was my first and last regular job. I thoroughly enjoyed every day of my 34 years at IIT Kanpur. I saw democracy with a capital D at its best at this institute. For example, the head of the department is chosen by the director. It is his prerogative to choose, but traditionally he chooses after consulting all members of the faculty, including the faculty member who joined the institute a day ago. Academic independence and equality in all avenues are the hallmarks of this IIT. After coming back to Kolkata in February 2006, I spent 12 years at 4 different institutions, and prior to that, obviously visited many other universities and institutes, and found that no institute could match IIT Kanpur in terms of independence and freedom of work at every level. During all those years at IIT Kanpur, I immensely enjoyed teaching and interacting with the brightest students. By brightest, I mean by international standards. In their own submission, the most successful students said that the education they received at BTech and MSc level is as good as in the top 5 US universities. Teaching 4 courses in L7 was really an experience that I enjoyed most, although initially I was quite afraid of doing it because you have to lecture before 250 students in a hall which accommodates 450 people with a 50 feet wide green board and 100 feet long microphone wires. There was always chances of toppling. There was no electromagnetic one at that time. The level of understanding of physics at the age of 17 or 18 that I found in many undergraduate students was simply astounding. Like one convinced me that no two laws of physics can be derived from one another. Interaction with my faculty colleagues were unique. I still remember enjoying tea with colleagues after UG tutorials in the faculty lounge in science block, sharing our experience, earning a lot from all my colleagues, especially the theorists. Let me say a few words about our low temperature laboratory in Santos. When I joined IIT, the lab had two old nitrogen and helium liquefiers producing minimal amounts of liquids, but an excellent electromagnet, but lacked basic electronics. Fortunately, my two faculty seniors in the lab were extremely helpful in my research effort. My initial PhD students had to improvise a good bit to perform their experiments. For instance, to make a sample current power supply back in 1972, we bought a very high wattage truck battery from the city. After bleeding it through a large resistance for 2-3 days, lo and behold, we obtained a voltage that was constant to within a few parts per million. As they say, necessity is the mother of all inventions. Furthermore, all data were written by hand in lab notebooks, because please note that I am talking about 1970s when there were no IBM personal computers. Unfortunately, around 1980, our helium liquefier stopped functioning, and this left all of us high and dry for some time. My then PhD students had to work on problems where one could get meaningful physics, even measuring down to 77 only using our existing equipment, and not necessarily doing what we wanted to do, but what we are forced to. As research funding improved in late 80s and early 90s, we first purchased closed-cycle helium refrigerators. This worked down to 8 degrees Kelvin, and later bought a new helium liquefier. With all the research funds spent on cryogenics, we had little to spend on electronics. This led many of my PhD students to fabricate very specialized equipment, such as a high-resolution AC susceptibility apparatus and a physical property measurement system working down to 1.2 degree Kelvin. With liquid helium available in large quantities in the 90s, the first superconducting magnets at IIT Kanpur were two homemade ones, one of which was a 7 Tesla magnet built by one of my PhD students. Many superconducting magnets were later on bought at various facilities within IIT. We gradually became richer in equipment, basic facilities, etc., and our labs also look very impressive. For me, it is a great pride to see many of my 14 PhD students get established in academics at institutes, both at home, like TIFR, IIT, RRCAT, Indore, IUC, Indore, BRC, to name a few, and abroad in the United States. As a matter of fact, the resume of many of my students are significantly better at that point. And this award goes to all my students' credit. Finally, I dedicate this award to my late wife, Nanda, who left us very sadly on January 30, 2020. IIT Kanpur was very dear to her, where she had spent 34 years. Actually, she liked IIT Kanpur more than I did. We had another connection with IIT Kanpur. Our only son, Amdan, is an alumnus of IIT Kanpur, graduating with a BTech in electrical engineering in 1995. All three of us thought and still think that the IIT campus was heaven on earth. Thank you all, and goodbye, and stay healthy.
Thank you. I'll request director to confer it virtually. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor Kundu and Professor Majumdar. I would like to once again congratulate Professor S.K. Gupta, Professor Gautam Biswas, Professor A.K. Majumdar, and Shri Jagjit Singh Bindra, and take this opportunity to express our gratitude for their immense contribution and service to the Institute, and continue to look for guidance and encouragement from them in the future as well. Moving on to the next segment of the felicitations, I call upon Professor Jain Singh, Dean of Resource and Alumni, to introduce the distinguished Alumnus Awards.
Honorable Education Minister, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, Chairman, Board of Governors, Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Director IIT Kanpur, Professor Abhay Karandikar, Deputy Director IIT Kanpur, Professor S. Ganesh, Dean of Faculty Affairs, Professor D. Kundu, esteemed colleague of mine, faculty members, alumni, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I extend a warm welcome to all of you to the 62nd Foundation Day of IIT Kanpur. After holding a virtual Foundation Day last year, we are happy to host most of our awardees in person this year. It's a pleasure and pride to announce that this year 16 alumni will be awarded for their excellence under different categories, which are Distinguished Alumnus Award, Distinguished Services Award, Young Alumnus Award, and Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award. Our first segment, the Distinguished Alumnus Award, is the highest award given by IIT Kanpur to its alumni in recognition to their outstanding achievements. Every year, Institute honors individuals who have made a mark in their respective field of expertise. Since its inception in 1989, this honor has been bestowed upon a total of 152 alumni for their academic excellence, professional excellence, entrepreneurship, and management excellence in activities pertaining to the services of humanities at large. I'm happy and proud to announce that this year 11 alumni are selected for this award. My hearty congratulations. I would now request the Master of Ceremony to proceed with the felicitation program.
Thank you, Professor Singh. Ladies and gentlemen, taking the program forward, I would like to request Head Chemical Engineering, Professor Animangshu Ghatak, to kindly come up on stage and read the citation for the first Distinguished Alumnus Awardee for 2021, Shri Rakesh Bhargav.
Our first Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Mr. Rakesh Bhargav. I request Mr. Rakesh Bhargav to please join us on stage. Mr. Rakesh Bhargav earned his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1973 and subsequently went on to earn an MBA degree from IIM Ahmedabad in 1975. He later completed courses in financial management and advanced management at Institute European Administration des Affaires. Mr. Bhargav is one of India's senior most executives in pharmaceuticals, medical nutrition, and medical devices domains, and has held top management positions in several companies in India and abroad. He is the former chairman of Fresenius Kabi Oncology Limited, an Indian subsidiary of Fresenius AC and Company, KGA, a US $42 billion German multinational healthcare group. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of corporate management and entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Rakesh Bhargava the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Rakesh Bhargav. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now, I would like to request Mr. Rakesh Bhargav to kindly present the acceptance speech.
Honorable Minister Dr. Dharmendra Pradhan ji, unfortunately is not with us. Chairman Board of Governors Dr. Radhakrishnan, Director Dr. Abhay Karandikar, respected faculty members, alumni, my classmates from 1973, I think some of them should be here, they promised. Yeah, there they are. Dear students, ladies and gentlemen, I'm most delighted, privileged, and deeply honored to be selected for the IIT Kanpur Distinguished Alumnus Award this year. It is always gratifying if one's work is recognized, but when the recognition is bestowed upon by one's alma mater and a world-renowned and iconic institution like IIT-K, it makes it truly special. What makes it even more special for me is that I received the email from Dr. Karandikar announcing my award on the Teachers' Day. And it seemed like a blessing coming from all my teachers. At the same time, I feel so humbled when I look at the list of other most illustrious DAA awardees, including a minister in the union government. I offer my heartiest congratulations to all my fellow awardees sitting here in the first row. And I am most grateful to IIT-K Director Dr. Karandikar and the selection committee for choosing me for this most prestigious award. I will be failing in my duty if I don't thank my dear friend Rajesh for quietly nominating me. I must also thank my all other friends and partners in crime who provided the fun quotient during those rigorous 5 years. The bond of friendship continues to be strong to this day. It does sound like a cliche, but honestly, what I am today is because of doing my undergrad at IIT-K. What I learned at IIT-K was not just technical subjects, but also some important skills and core values. I bow my head to all my teachers for installing, if I may call them, chips of chemical engineering, affinity with computers and software, clarity of thinking, analytical ability, and problem solving in my motherboard, which have served me so well all along my career. I chose a career in corporate management instead of engineering, but I never strayed from my core of chemical engineering and have worked in chemical and pharmaceutical companies throughout. I would like to especially mention Professor C.N.R. Rao, Professor Sheshadri, who was the head of the department at that time, and Professor Kutchatkar. I was so touched when I received a congratulatory email last month from Professor Kutchatkar. I couldn't believe that he still remembers me after 48 years. The core values which I learned were striving for excellence, passion for success, teamwork with people coming from diverse backgrounds. IIT-K is a melting pot for such diverse people, and being honest and confident about oneself. These core values have guided me throughout my career as well as in my personal life. I couldn't have succeeded in this increasingly vague, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world of international business without these values. I was responsible for 15 countries in Asia Pacific, which had totally diverse business environments, but I was able to take the right decisions to rapidly grow our business in all of them. At this point, I must thank my dear wife of 43 years, Shuchi, sitting over there, who provided rock-solid support and taking care of the family when I was constantly traveling to those countries. The last thing I wish to say is this. There are 3 stages in life: learning, earning, and returning. Learning is what I did at IITK, IMA, INSEAD, and in my various professional roles. No more earning for me anymore because now I have stepped down from executive roles. But returning to society is what I continue to do through serving the needy communities, by mentoring startups in pharma and medical devices, and working to fill the gaps in our healthcare system as much as I can. I'm most excited to be associated with the SMRT project of IITK, which is going to be a huge step in the direction of filling those healthcare gaps. Finally, I invite my fellow IITK alumni to use their privileged position to make IITK more glorious and make India stronger. Thank you all, and my Diwali greetings to you and your dear ones.
Thank you, Mr. Bhargav. Our next distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Ms. Bhartika Shukla. I request Ms. Bhartika Shukla to please join us on stage. Ms. Bhartika Shukla earned her bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from Iit Kanpur in 1988. She is also certified with an executive general management program from IIM Lucknow. She currently serves as the chairperson and managing director, technical, and director finance of Engineers India Limited, EIL. Ms. Shukla started her career as a management trainee in EIL's process division in the year 1988. She possesses more than 32 years of extensive technical and consulting experience across the hydrocarbon value chain and has led the company to the successful completion of many prestigious projects in oil and gas refining, petrochemical, fertilizer sector, both in India and overseas. Honoring her stellar contributions in the fields of chemical engineering and technology, IIT Kanpur confers upon Ms. Bhartika Shukla the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Ms. Bhartika Shukla. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now I would like to request Ms. Bhartika Shukla to kindly present the acceptance speech.
Thank you, Professor. Honorable Minister of Education and Skill Development, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, Chairman, Board of Governors, IIT Kanpur, Director, IIT Kanpur, Deans, distinguished faculty members, distinguished alumnus who have been awarded today on the 62nd Foundation Day of our alma mater, family, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor for me to be here standing on this podium and receiving this Distinguished Alumnus Award. When I joined IIT Kanpur in 1988,
This was perhaps a dream which has come true. And the credit of my years of service in the oil and gas industry, the basis, the foundation is embedded in these lecture halls, in this campus, in the library, in the hostels, among my friends who still are, we share memorable occasions of being here at the campus together. Soon after campus in 1988, I joined Engineers India Limited and am a lifer in EIL, as we call it. Standing from the point of leadership of the company today as CNMD of India's most prestigious engineering design and consultancy company, we are at a cusp of change, a change which is necessary to stay relevant and lead the nation towards the economy which is more green and resting on technology and innovation in the future. This is the task which, as the leader of the organization, which is dear to me, a task which is difficult but not impossible. And it is from the corridors of Iit Kanpur, my dear alma mater, the professors who have shaped, who have nurtured, who have given me the ability to look at things in a more analytical manner, to sift through discussion and debate and lead to focused and effective decision making, to give me the qualities of perception, not just scientific, but also emotional. And that is the legacy of Iit Kanpur, which I cherish and which has brought me here, led me to this achievement and led me to this podium amongst all distinguished audience that we have here today. This journey has been with the support of not just my mentors all through, my teams who have stood by me in all my achievements. Early on in my life, I recall my grandparents with whom I saw the clear blue sky with stars and dreamed with them to move forward in life. My parents, my father, who taught me the nuances of the ICE engine, and I knew everything which was inside a car. My dream was to become a mechanical engineer, but I didn't do very well in the JEE, so I landed up with chemical engineering. My mother, whose perseverance, who sacrificed so very much and led both my brother and myself to great achievements and to this position where we are proud to be their children. My sister, who's there in the audience with me, Dr. Rekha, our children, Apurva, Aman, Arpit, and Sanjana. I'm very proud of all of you. It would not be, there would be no achievement if my husband, Arun, who is also a product of this IIT from Mechanical Engineering Division Department, he has been my mentor, my strength, my best friend, and has been more ambitious for me than I have been for myself. Thank you so much for being there and for steering and shaping my career. Thank you, Iit Kanpur. Thank you, my professors. Many thanks to my family and my friends. And above all, my colleagues and friends who actually nominated me for this award so that I could stand here, be judged as a distinguished alumnus, and be amongst all of you. Thank you so very much for everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shukla. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Mr. Heman Jalan. I request Mr. Heman Jalan to please join us on stage. Mr. Heman Jalan earned his bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from Iit Kanpur in 1977. During his tenure at IITK, he was the General Secretary Cultural 1976-77 and represented IITK in inter-college debate competitions throughout his stay at the institute. After IITK, Mr. Heman Jalan went on to receive a master's degree in chemical engineering from Stanford University and then his MBA from Chicago Booth School, University of Chicago. He founded Indigo Paints in year 2000, which has grown multifold over the years, culminating in a successful IPO of the company in early 2021. Indigo Paints Limited is today the fourth largest paint manufacturer in India with an annual sales of over rupees 1,000 crores. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Heman Jalan Distinguished Alumnus Award for 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Heman Jalan. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now I would like to request Mr. Heman Jalan to kindly present the acceptance speech.
An illustrious alumnus of this institute, a few years senior to me, who went on to receive the Padma Bhushan Award, once wrote in an article that was published, and I quote, "If I were given an opportunity now to relive my life and once again choose for myself a college for my education, if I were looking for the best general education in the whole wide world, I would still go to IIT Kanpur. But if I wanted to be an engineer, I'm not so sure." I don't think I can entirely agree with his statement, and perhaps that statement was a bit tongue-in-cheek. But the gist of what he said needs to be appreciated. It is true that although this institute was founded to produce engineers of excellence, only a small fraction of its alumni choose to remain in an engineering career. A vast majority elect to pursue general management and climb very high in the corporate hierarchy. Some enter the government public services, IAS, IPS, and attain great heights there also. Some join politics and manage to excel there too. Some, like me, have become successful entrepreneurs, and many others have excelled in a very diverse range of vocations in academia, religion, journalism, social service, and many, many others. And this, I think, is a testament to the brilliance of IIT Kanpur education system. I truly wonder how many educational institutes there are on planet Earth that can boastfully claim that their engineering graduates can choose any profession upon graduation, and the institute guarantees excellence in whatever they elect to do. I'm being honored today for my achievement in entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship is a subject that cannot be taught in the classrooms of any educational institute. And my first innings in entrepreneurship ended in abject failure some 25 years ago. But I picked myself up and started all over again. It is the education that I underwent in the hallowed precincts of this institute which gave me the courage to trust my ideas, no matter how strange they sounded. Taught me the discipline of never accepting anything at face value simply because the professor said so, but to question and argue with him until I had completely understood the concept thoroughly. Gave me the strength to never give up in the face of adversity, and taught me the skill of working together in a group, whether in academics or sports or any other co-curricular activity. And it is that learning which has made me a successful entrepreneur today, and I am completely indebted to IIT Kanpur for what it has imparted to me. I would like to thank Chairman Board of Governors, the Director, and the Selection Committee for this award for having considered me worthy enough for such a high recognition. Of all the awards and recognitions that I may have gained in my lifetime, this one will surely rank the highest by a very, very wide margin. I would also like to thank my wife and my family for have stood by me in this very difficult journey of life. Thank you, everyone, for this great honor and recognition. Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Jalanji. Now I would like to call upon Head of Industrial Management and Engineering, Professor B.V. Fani, to kindly read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus Awardee for this year, 2021, Sri Ashwini Kumar Vaishnav.
Thank you, ma'am. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Sri Ashwini Kumar Vaishnav. He is present with us virtually. Sri Ashwini Vaishnav received his master's degree in Industrial Management and Engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1994. He currently serves as the Union Cabinet Minister for Communications, Electronics and Information Technology, and Railways, Government of India. He is also a member of Indian Parliament representing Odisha State in the Rajya Sabha since June 2019. He was appointed as member of Committee on Subordinate Legislation and Petitions and Committee on Science and Technology, Environment and Forests. After graduating from IIT Kanpur in 1994, Sri Vaishnav joined the Indian Administrative Service in the Odisha cadre and worked extensively in different parts of Odisha, including serving as the District Collector of Balasore and Cuttack districts. He worked in Odisha till 2003 when he was appointed as Deputy Secretary in the office of former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of public services, IIT Kanpur confers upon Sri Ashwini Vaishnav Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Kharandikar to felicitate Sri Ashwini Kumar Vaishnav.
Thank you.
I now request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque.
Thank you.
Now I would like to request Sri Ashwini Kumar Vaishnav to kindly present the acceptance speech. Thank you.
My senior colleague in the cabinet, Honorable Education Minister Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, respected Chairman of the Board of Governors, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Director Professor Karandikar, distinguished faculty members, fellow alumni, and my dear students. Am I audible? Okay. I am deeply honored by this great recognition bestowed on me of being a distinguished alumni. IIT Kanpur has produced many entrepreneurs, scientists, inventors, policymakers, and some of the finest engineers. I don't think I ever get into that stream. I am a much less accomplished person, and as my previous speaker, Mr. Jalan, said, I meandered into public service rather than staying on for engineering. IIT Kanpur is one of the greatest institutions in the world. It has shaped so many young generations, and the contribution it has made to the society is phenomenal. It has not only imparted technical education, but has also imparted some very good core values to its students. The values of discipline, the value of being able to think outside the box, the value of thinking about the society, always contributing to the society, always not just thinking of oneself, but also thinking about the greater good is what IIT Kanpur taught to me. On this occasion, I would like to thank all the professors who contributed to my journey during the IIT Kanpur years. And special thanks goes to Professor Sadugopan, who guided me in creating the first multimedia database management system. This is 2021, and that was 1994. Things have changed a lot, but in 1994, I remember the days and nights spent in the lab trying to create a DBMS which could accept sound as a multimedia database element. And when the first document got created as a preliminary output of that project, it was a document I still remember in which we described the Indian musical instruments and put a picture of each of the instruments like tabla, veena, many other things, sitar, many other things. And what a wonder it was in those days to be able to click on a document and listen to music coming out of it. It's a common thing today, and even I think today school students do that kind of programming. Times have changed a lot. I got lots of many opportunities to solve such complex problems in my life in public service, and it has been a life of great satisfaction, great opportunities to contribute to the society. And throughout this meandering journey, my family, especially my wife and the two children, they stood rock solid with me. I was moving around and they were the anchors of my life. I would like to thank all of them for helping me navigate this complexity throughout the social world. I once again thank Professor Karandikar and the Board of Governors for bestowing this honor, which I frankly don't deserve. But thank you very much for, I wish I could have been there and be one with you, but hope to soon join the campus for some visit, at least to remember the old memories. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Fani and Sri Vaishnavji. And now taking the program forward, I would like to request Professor Menak Chaudhary, Head Computer Science and Engineering, to kindly read the citation for the next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021, Sri Mukesh Bansal.
Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Mr. Mukesh Bansal. I request Mr. Mukesh Bansal to please join us on stage. Mr. Mukesh Bansal earned his bachelor's degree in computer science and engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1997. He currently serves as the CEO and co-founder of CureFit and as president of Tata Digital. Mr. Bansal started his career as a business analyst with Deloitte Consulting and later worked for many early-stage companies in the Silicon Valley as an engineer and product manager across consumer internet and enterprise IT organizations. He's a first-generation tech entrepreneur and has played a critical role in shaping digital commerce growth in India, first with e-commerce company Mahindra, and then as head of e-commerce at Flipkart. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Mukesh Bansal the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Mukesh Bansal and request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now I'd like to request Mr. Mukesh Bansal to kindly present the acceptance speech. Thank you.
Honorable Director, Board of Governors, faculty, students, and family members, I am truly delighted and honored to be here. I have a lot of memories associated with my time in IIT Kanpur. There is a lot that I owe to what the institution has done for me and for numerous other students who have passed through IIT Kanpur. I would like to just touch upon a few things which I think have been critical in shaping my journey. First and foremost, big part of what IIT Kanpur has been doing over, years and decades now is to give a platform for students from all over the country and transpose them into totally new world. I grew up in a very small town of Haridwar, and my first day, at IIT Kanpur in '93, it was a totally different world. You get to interact with, some of the brightest students from all over the world, highly accomplished faculty, state-of-the-art facilities, and the entire world of possibilities open up. I think one of the other distinguished alumni award winners mentioned earlier that it's not only the engineering education, but holistic education, exposure to many different streams that the campus enables. That has been a big part of my journey here. I didn't do that well academically, but I got exposure to so many different things through a library. I just this afternoon walked through a library and thinking about, countless hours I've spent in the library and just stumbling upon one stream after another and just picking up random books. I still remember my first exposure into world of entrepreneurship was through some of the books I read in IIT Kanpur library, and somewhere that sparked the trigger. I got an opportunity to work for a company based out of US in '97, which led me to Silicon Valley in '99, and that's where in many ways my exposure to entrepreneurship started. So I directly owe IIT Kanpur for that opportunity. It so happened my first startup job was given to my another IIT Kanpur alumni, and that has been stayed constant throughout. Whenever any part of the world you run into IIT Kanpur alumni, and there is an instant bond, and people go out of their way to mentor you, guide you, support you any possible way. My very first investor also happened to be IIT Kanpur alumni. So this thread runs throughout my life of benefiting from just, I've spent 4 years here, but it's been, 25-year long career, which has continued to benefit from association from IIT Kanpur. I am proud of, what I was exposed to here. I continue to have very strong relationship, not only from people who were my classmates and batchmates, but over the years gotten to know of alumni from, both a lot of people who have come after me, come before me, and we feel we're part of this extended family who is out there for each other. So there's a lot that I owe to IIT Kanpur. I am deeply, honored and humbled by conferring of this award. I think like many of us, before who said, I don't think I'm truly deserving of this, but I feel, this will inspire me to continue to participate in the emerging entrepreneurial ecosystem in India. I think the last thing I will mention is India at the crossroads of really taking off in a very big way. I think last 10, 15 years, I've been, privileged to be part of the creation of digital ecosystem in India, but all the groundwork has been laid and things are only starting to take off and grow exponentially. And I can see 10, 20 years ahead of us, not only India growing immensely, but also a lot of the growth will be driven by innovation in technology, establishing new digital frontiers. And Professor Karandikar was sharing with all the innovation that is being pioneered in the IIT Kanpur campus, some of the new age things that's been conceptualized and enabled at a very large scale, which I think will play a very big role. So a lot of exciting things to look forward to. And once again, just would like to thank everyone for making this, this award possible for me. I'm deeply grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Bansal ji. Now I would like to request Head Electrical Engineering, Professor R.M. Hegde, to kindly read the citation for the next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee for this year 2021, Shri Saurabh Chandra.
Good evening. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Mr. Saurabh Chandra. I request Mr. Saurabh Chandra to please join us on stage. Sure. Mr. Saurabh Chandra earned his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1976. Mr. Chandra joined the Indian Administrative Service in 1978 and was allotted the Uttar Pradesh cadre. He retired from the post of Secretary, Government of India, Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas in 2015. Prior to that, he was the Secretary in the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. Mr. Chandra serves as a Public Interest Director, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited, and an Independent Director on the boards of SBI Pension Funds Private Limited, WACMET India Limited, and JK Cements Limited. He is also a member of the Advisory Board of the School of Medical Research and Technology at IIT Kanpur. Honoring his stellar contributions to public administration and formulation of public policy, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Saurabh Chandra the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I now request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Saurabh Chandra. I now request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque. I would now like to request Mr. Saurabh Chandra to present his acceptance speech.
My former minister, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, in absentia, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Chairman, Board of Governors, Professor Karandikar, Director of IIT Kanpur, Professor Kundu, Professor Ganesh, Professor Jayan Singh, fellow awardees, ladies and gentlemen. One of the greatest honor that one can aspire for is to receive an award from one's alma mater. However, there is a flip side to it. More importantly, it casts a very heavy responsibility on the recipient. That is to live up to the trust and faith of the jury and the alumnus who nominated me. At the outset, I would like to dedicate this award to my late parents who believed in the power of education above everything else. To my teachers whose mentoring was a beacon of hope as I muddled through a career in public service. My colleagues in the civil service who were participants in this cooperative endeavor, the sine qua non of public administration, and my family, which stood steadfast by me during the ups and downs of my careers, thereby giving me the freedom to treat success and failure as ephemeral, or as Rudyard Kipling would put it, as imposters. I am grateful for the kind words said about me. I'm not certain whether I deserve them. All that I'm sure is that my late father would have winked at them, having graduated from the Thomson College of Engineering before the 1950s. My spouse would be wondering, if she's watching it, whether they are about the same man whom she got married to. Only my late mother would have believed every word of what was said. I don't want to talk about what I did. Our lives are open books. There's enough on internet about our deeds, misdeeds, what we could have done, what we couldn't have done. I stand before you to tell you what IIT Kanpur did to me. As Professor Deshpande used to say, IIT Kanpur education trains your mind. First and foremost, it embeds in you the algorithm for solving problems. Having an open and questioning mind, ability to tide over adversity, and the need for adaptive solutions to tackle uncertainty are some of the lessons which remained with me long after I had forgotten what I had been taught. What do I take back? That the battles of life are won and lost in the minds of men. IIT Kanpur education is all about pursuit of excellence. This requires rewarding the best and those who contribute to improving the existing state of affairs. It is not about which position one occupies, but what one does in that position. It is on this campus that it became crystal clear that people value fairness very dearly. They accept unpleasant outcomes. For example, we accepted our grades if they believe that the process to arrive at that outcome was fair and transparent. It is here that I learnt the importance of the spoken word. Why keeping your word was of consequence. How it built your reputation. And reputation once pawned is never redeemed. To quote an Urdu couplet, मैं इसे अपनी शोहरत कहूँ या रुसवाई, मुझसे पहले उस गली में मेरे अफसाने आए. I mean, my reputation precedes before I even enter any place. I would be less than honest if I do not mention what I could have learned on the campus better. And that is how to relate to people. At our Silver Jubilee reunion, boys would be boys. Late in the night, after whatever state of mind we were, the question arose, why do some batchmates do better in life than others? And the final answer was how you relate to people. Importance of social mindfulness, the value of emotional quotient. My parting advice is that be kind to people. They remember how you treated them. You will meet them as you descend from the pinnacle of your career. I would recite another Urdu couplet which I learnt during these days, which best exemplifies the traits of a leader and which has been my constant companion. It's been repeated very often. It goes like this. तू इधर उधर की बात न कर, यह बता कि काफिला क्यों लुटा. मुझे रहजनों से गिला नहीं, तेरी रहबरी का सवाल है. So finally a question of your leadership. I would like to conclude with a quote from the Upanishads. You are what your deepest desire is. As is your desire, so is your intention. As is your intention, so is your will. As is your will, so is your deed. As is your deed, so is your destiny. God bless. Happy Dhanteras and Deepavali. Jai Hind. Thank you, Mr. Saurabh Chandra. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Mr. Rahul Garg. I request Mr. Rahul Garg to please join us on stage. Mr. Rahul Garg earned his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Iit Kanpur in 2001. He currently serves as the founder of Moglix, an Asia-based e-commerce company intensively inclined towards B2B procurement of industrial supplies, packing, contract management, software as a service, supply chain financing, manufacturing as a service, distribution and logistics for manufacturing across the spectrum. Mr. Garg's achievements as an entrepreneur are driven by his contribution as a technology expert and innovator. He has been a leading technical expert who has contributed to expanding the frontiers of wireless technology, networking, and satellite technology. He has authored 9 technology papers in national and international conferences. He holds 16 US patents in the areas of wireless technology, digital networks, and analytics. Honoring his stellar contributions to innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship, Iit Kanpur confers upon Mr. Rahul Garg the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I now request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Rahul Garg. And I request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque. I'll now like to request Mr. Rahul Garg to kindly present his acceptance speech.
So, Honorable Minister, Dr. Radhakrishnan, Professor Karandikar, faculty members, families, my other distinguished alumni, team members, and ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I don't think among all awards that I have received, or maybe some of them in future, I think this award remains the dearest of all. As a BTech student, if you enter the college and you look up to all the distinguished alumni in past who have gotten it, I would say that it was an awe feeling when I heard that I would be joining that league. And as I reflect upon what did IITK do to me, and I think it's very difficult to summarize in few sentences. I think we can stay all night and talk about it. But 3 things that kind of stuck on me, that what it did to me and my entire journey thereon. I mean, the first one was clear love and passion for engineering. I have gone about spending time in wireless communication, internet, e-commerce, all of the spaces. But every time I enter a new technology field, I almost feel like I am a child who is entering a toy store. I would imagine at some point I might play a role in designing flying cars. That is something that has remained a dream for me. And I think that love and passion just grew at the campus and it continues to build on me. The second thing I think it did to me, and it probably does to every student, when I joined IITK, I was the district topper of my district. And you join and you get your semester 1 grades. You realize that it is not looking good. and the semester 2 grades actually reset the bar, that you have entered an institution which fundamentally will redefine the two words, what is excellence and what is hard work. And I would say that that has really grown on me as I meet more of the IITK alum, that when 95% people give up, that this is a hard and difficult problem to solve, I think you have to call upon IIT Kanpur graduates to start to figure out how to go about solving that problem. And I think that is something I truly believe that has been a spirit of IIT Kanpur, which has really something inspired me, and I continue to try my best to be in that 5% bucket. The third thing which I think really grew on me, and it continues to do, is this entire humility and passion for making impact to society. And I saw that playing out as much in COVID times, interacting with Professor Karandikar, many of the faculty members, many of the alumni who took upon them the challenging task of coming up with ventilator in a record 6 to 10 weeks. I think that is the power of IIT Kanpur, where they do not just apply their brains to capitalistic approaches, but they are always thinking about what can I do for the society, what can I do to create larger impact on the world that we are living in. And I think these three things really make IIT Kanpur an unsaid spirit in the world, because when you walk into a room and someone says, I am from IIT Kanpur, I think he doesn't need to say many more things, because people just believe in that power of spirit that has really been guiding us all this year. I also want to thank and take this opportunity, firstly, for my parents and my sister, without whom I would not have inspiration to work hard to get into this institution. I would also want to thank all of my 440 batchmates who continue to push the bar up. I would like to thank few professors who really changed my life. Two of them I would want to mention here, Professor A.K. Chaturvedi and Professor Vishwanath Sinha, who really inspired me to pursue wireless communication at that point in time and really get into the area of electrical design. But post IIT Kanpur, also I continue to be touched by various alumni. Like Mukesh Bansal, I also have multiple investors from IIT Kanpur, and I think that immediate bonding that we want to change the world together is something that comes so naturally when you walk to those guys and talk about what you're trying to do. And I can go on and on in terms of the number of people from IIT Kanpur that I continue to touch, be inspired from, learning from them, working with them in various shapes or form, and this is all possible with this one decision of joining IIT Kanpur. So again, thanks a lot for believing in me. I think this is still start of the journey. We have long road ahead. I will continue to try my best to live up to the expectations. Happy Diwali to everyone, but I can't stop by saying IIT Kanpur ka tempo high hai.
Thank you, Rahul. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Professor Rajesh Kumar Gupta. He is present with us virtually.
Dear Director Karandikar, Dean Jayant Singh.
Okay. So, Professor Rajesh Kumar Gupta earned his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1984 and subsequently went on to pursue his master's degree in electrical engineering and computer science from the University of California, Berkeley in 1986. He also did his doctorate in electrical engineering from Stanford University in 1994. Professor Gupta is currently a distinguished professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at the University of California, San Diego. He serves as the founding director of the Haligiolu Data Science Institute at UC San Diego. Professor Gupta is a recipient of the IEEE Computer Society W. Wallace McDowell Award, IEEE TCCPS Distinguished Leadership Award, the National Science Foundation Career Award, 2 Departmental Achievement Awards, and a Components Research Team Award at Intel. Honoring his stellar contributions to the fields of electrical engineering and computer science, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Rajesh Kumar Gupta the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I'd now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Professor Gupta. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque. I'd now like to request Professor Gupta to kindly present the acceptance speech.
Dear Director Karandikar, Dean Jayant Singh, and assembled guests, truth be told, I very much wanted to be there, along with my parents, who are actually in Kanpur. I'm sure they will be very proud, and I'll be happy to see them so proud back in IIT. I do look forward to visiting IIT in a couple months as life returns to normal. I am deeply honored and humbled by the recognition of Distinguished Alumni Award. IITK gave us the language of the mind, a language rich to learn new concepts, new skill, how to think about thinking. To me, IIT Kanpur brings memories of welding steel, making wooden grandfather clocks, debating David Hume's rationality in philosophy class, and tutorials where imagination sometimes is sparked. If not, there was always a surprise quiz waiting for us. I can tell you, keeping in touch with so many of my friends from IITK days, each one of them, regardless of what their GPA was or grades were, have shown a remarkable strength of character and resilience. Professional and personal success, of course, that comes with it. This would not have been possible without the extraordinary dedication of our teachers at IIT Kanpur. There's no question. We are IIT's past. IIT's future is even brighter for the kind of work and the kind of efforts are leading under Director Karandikar's leadership. I'm particularly impressed by the School for Medical Research and Technology. I think that's really far-reaching and far-sighted in terms of where full-blown universities will be in future. As I look at the times back and the times ahead, one cannot feel but humility for the amount of dedication that the teachers brought forth to a bunch of high schoolers or intermediates from those times, and gave them real knowledge and real passion for thinking about things that will take them far into the future. Once again, I am honored and humbled for this recognition. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Gupta. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Professor Vijay Bittel. He is present with us virtually. Professor Vijay Bittel received his master's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1997 and subsequently went on to earn his PhD in electrical engineering from the Iowa State University in 1982. Dr. Bittel currently serves as the Regents Professor at the Arizona State University. Professor Bittel was elected to the US National Academy of Engineering in 2004. In 2018, he received the IEEE Power and Energy Society Prabha S. Kundur Power System Dynamics and Control Award and the Utility Variable Generation Integration Group Achievement Award. In 2013, he was awarded the IEEE Herman Halperin Transmission and Distribution Technical Field Award. He also received the IEEE Power and Energy Society Outstanding Power Engineering Educator Award in 2000. He was elected an IEEE Fellow in 1997 and was also awarded the US National Science Foundation Presidential Young Investigator Award in 1985. Honoring his stellar contributions to the world of academia in the field of electrical engineering, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Vijay Bittel the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I now request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Professor Bittel. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque. I would now like to request Professor Bittel to kindly present his acceptance speech.
Honored guests, distinguished faculty, fellow awardees, students, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a delight to be amongst you after 42 years, including virtually seeing one of the beloved lecturers at IITK. I would like to thank the IIT Kanpur Distinguished Alumnus Award Selection Committee, the director and the Board of Governors for having selected me as a recipient of one of this year's awards. I would also like to thank the efforts of my nominators, whom I later found out were my Hall 5 mates, Rakesh Sharma and Amrit Yagnanarayan, who played a key role in my being awarded this distinction. Receiving this award is a humbling experience, and I am very grateful. I have fond memories of my experience at IITK. It provided me a solid grounding in research methodology, ability to tackle tough research problems, and a launch pad for an academic career, which I thoroughly enjoy and cherish. During my short stay of 2 years at IITK, I made lifelong friends with whom I still maintain contact thanks to WhatsApp. I also enjoyed participating in a number of cultural and sports activities, including an unforgettable trip to IIT Madras for the Inter-IIT Games playing field hockey for IIT Kanpur. Above all, my experience at IITK was life-changing. It helped springboard my career, and I met the love of my life, Sunanda, who is my spouse and also happens to be the daughter of my MTech advisor, Dr. M.A. Pai, who himself has had a long history of service and leadership at IIT Kanpur. I would also like to thank my other mentors who have shaped my career and love for teaching, research, and education. Finally, I would like to thank my parents for their encouragement and constant support throughout my career. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Bittel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Hegde and Professor Victor. And now I would like to request Professor Gautam Sen Gupta from the Department of Physics to kindly read the citation for the Distinguished Alumnus Awardee for this year, 2021, Professor Abhay Lalit Deshpande.
Good evening. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Professor Abhay Lalit Deshpande. He is present with us virtually. Professor Abhay Lalit Deshpande received his master's degree in physics from IIT Kanpur in 1987 and subsequently went on to earn his doctorate in experimental high-energy physics from the Yale University in 1995. Professor Deshpande currently is a professor of physics at the State University of New York at Stony Brook with a joint appointment at the Brookhaven National Laboratory, BNL. Professor Deshpande is the recipient of many prestigious awards and honors, such as the SUNY Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Research and Innovation in 2018, Riken, Japan, President's Special Prize for the Study of Nucleon Spin in 2015, Fellow of the American Physical Society in 2014, National Academy of Sciences Education Fellow in Life Sciences in 2013. Honoring his stellar contributions to the field of high-energy nuclear physics, IIT Kanpur confers upon Professor Lalit Deshpande the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Professor Lalit Deshpande and request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now I would like to request Professor Lalit Deshpande to kindly present the acceptance speech.
Friends, distinguished guests gathered here today, I feel delighted and honored to be selected this year as the distinguished alumnus of the IIT Kanpur. Being appreciated by one's institution like this is certainly very pleasurable. However, coming from IIT, such an august institution makes it very special and also humbling. I want to recognize my fellow awardees who have also received the award this year. I have read about their work since the awards were declared, and I am very much in their awe for the contributions, the different contributions that they have made to different aspects of the society. I feel honored to be part of this group. Professor Karandikar, the director, informed me on September 5th about this award. It happened to be the International Teachers' Day. Memories of my teachers at IIT Kanpur were especially strong this year because of that. Professor Vijay Deshpande, Professor Parasnis, Jagulekar, Wagmare, Singru, Professor H.S. Mani, J.K. Bhattacharya, as well as Professor Vijay Singh. They were all tough, but at the same time very supportive, and I appreciated that very much. Perhaps not while I was there, but since then. While no doubt it is a very pleasurable thing to have this honor, I fully recognize that the honor also comes with some responsibility and duties. And those are of supporting the institution in the future, as well as the students and the faculty when they need. And I promise to do that. I'm looking forward to doing it. I hope I can visit you soon, the pandemic is over, and make those contacts real once again. I thank you very, very much, and I hope to be in touch again. Goodbye.
Thank you, Professor Deshpande.
Thank you, Professor Sen Gupta, and thank you, Professor Deshpande. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request Head Mechanical Engineering, Professor Samir Khandekar, to kindly invite and read the citation for our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021, Dr. Dev Juneja.
Good evening. Our next Distinguished Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Dr. Dev Juneja. He is present with us virtually. Dr. Dev Juneja received his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 1984. He earned his doctorate in operations research from Cornell University. He currently serves as the Chief Risk Officer at Exodus Point Capital Management. Dr. Juneja is one of the top benefactors of IIT Kanpur over the years. He instituted the Pavitra Juneja Faculty Chair in honor of his mother and the Arjun Dev Juneja Faculty Chair in honor of his father at the Department of Civil Engineering. He has also generously donated towards the class of 1984 chair, campus workers of IIT Kanpur, and towards the online education campaign during the pandemic, thereby benefiting IIT Kanpur students who come from economically weaker sections of the society. Honoring his stellar contributions in the area of financial markets, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Juneja the Distinguished Alumnus Award of 2021. I would now request
Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Dr. Juneja. And also request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now, I would like to request Dr. Dev Juneja to kindly present the acceptance speech.
Hi, good evening. Let me start by saying thank you for this great students and all the alumni of the Indian Institute of Technology for this honor. I am particularly gratified receiving this award from my alma mater, a place which is very near and dear to my heart, considering not just the education from a world-class institute that I got in the 1980s, but also the role that the institute played in my future life, my future success, and everything that came after I graduated from the institute. It wasn't just the education and the interaction with the faculty and everything that went and that you expect from a world-class institute. It was the interaction that I had with my classmates, my fellow students. It was the competitiveness that we brought to the table as a group of 250 odd students who are all equally smart, equally hardworking, equally dedicated to our education. It was the strong work ethic that this interaction inculcated in all of us. All that went into being an important part of what I would consider to be our success for all of us in our future, and to which I am for which I am deeply, deeply thankful to the Institute for. I think about the role that IIT played in all of our lives from that perspective. I also look at the last 3 or 4 decades since I left IIT to see how far IIT has come during this period. When I was there in the 80s, there were like maybe 2,000 odd students there. Now IIT has close to 10,000 students. The incoming class had a handful of women students. That proportion has grown enormously. It's still not quite there, but it's a step in the right direction, and the Institute continues to move in the right direction over time on things of that sort. And then as I look to the future, I am deeply encouraged by some of the initiatives that the Institute is taking, recognizing its role in both in Indian society and in Indian education. The one thing that comes to my mind off the top, for example, is the new SMRT initiative, the School of Medical Research and Technology, which brings together IIT's traditional strength in technology and in research with a new area, which is in medicine, an initiative that is just starting there, which I am extremely excited about, extremely encouraged by the direction that IIT is taking. It's an initiative that I would encourage my fellow alumni to get more educated about and to get involved in any way, shape, or form. I think there are many great things that are in the future for IIT and there.
On to our next segment, I would like to congratulate the distinguished Alumnus awardees and their families and take this opportunity to mention
alumni, Mr. Pradeep Bhargav and Mr. Kusal Sachiti are being selected for the Distinguished Services Award this year. Many congratulations. I now request the Master of Ceremony to proceed with the felicitation program. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Singh. And now I would like to request Professor Samir Khandekar once again to kindly read the citation for the Distinguished Service Awardee 2021, Shri Pradeep Bhargav.
Our first Distinguished Services Awardee 2021 is Mr. Pradeep Bhargav. I request Mr. Bhargav to please join on stage. Mr. Pradeep Bhargav earned his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering in 1989 and subsequently went on to earn his diploma in international business from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management in 1994. He currently serves as the CEO and founder of Glad Minds, an aftermarket platform that assists brands to provide product support and the customers to manage their assets. Mr. Bhargav has been active in the affairs of the Alumni Association for the past 8 years and has been instrumental in the planning and execution of many programs and activities that have indeed led to the better engagement between alumni and the Institute. Honoring his stellar contribution in facilitating Alumni Connect and major fundraising efforts of the Institute, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Pradeep Bhargav the Distinguished Services Award of 2021. I request Professor Abhay Karandikar to please felicitate Mr. Bhargav. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque to Mr. Bhargav. Now, I would like to request Mr. Pradeep Bhargav to kindly present the acceptance speech. Mr. Bhargav.
Thank you. Honorable Ministers, Professor Radhakrishnan, Professor Karandikar, Professor Kundu, Professor Ganesh, and Professor Jain Singh. Our distinguished guests here, my fellow awardees, my friends and my batchmates. It's been a great honor to be conferred this award. I'm extremely happy and feel privileged to receive this award, and it's a great feeling as I stand here and talk to you. My journey with IIT Kanpur started when I was class 9, and I came for this aquatic championship here in IIT Kanpur. And it was really impressive campus to see here. And I said, this is the place to be. But there's always one hurdle, that you have to cross the JEE. But there were a lot of pressures. 4 of my cousins had graduated from here successfully. We have a workshop at home, and it's a mechanical engineering, and everybody expects that you'll make it there. And then, of course, it helped being inspired by my parents, who were quite sure that I would definitely make it there. But as luck would have it, the exam paper was good enough. I could answer a reasonable number of questions, and I got through. And then came the next part, once you join. And that was even more interesting because you meet a lot of friends and you make friends. So a lot of my schoolmates were here and we made more friends. But my major time was spent in the thing I came for, like swimming. So I spent a lot of time swimming out here. I was part of the athletics and sports. And I think the batch also contributed a lot in sports. So while we won the swimming championship in the first 2 years, as long as the water was there in the IITs. But in the last year, in the cricket championship, IIT Kanpur beat IIT Madras in the last ball with 1 run to go and 1 wicket left. And our batsman hit, and it went straight to the fielder. Only good thing he did, he misfielded it, and we got that 1 run. So we had a great time here, and it ended up with what we call the Games Festival, first Games Festival, Altius 89, and getting all together, and it was a great camaraderie out in the fields, open there, which is now known as Udghosh. And then, very much like the Rip Van Winkle, he went to sleep for 20 years. So I also reconnected with the Institute with our Silver Jubilee, and I got associated as part of the Alumni Association in Bangalore chapter. So I'd like to thank the people who pulled me in back, but then it's very, very addictive. So once I came back and we started the engagement, it started with a family engagement, we moved to the startup, we moved to social enterprises, we moved to incubation center, research center, and ultimately going up to SMR3 in the last days, which was again an extremely exciting initiative that Institute has taken, and all the energy went there and adrenaline went high. So I'd like to thank my wife Priya and my son Ratan to see me away on many of the weekends, more than 100 weekends over the last few years, and supporting all these initiatives. And as we begin the next part of our journey now, as we see SMRT is already existing and as thought and in execution, and we have the funding going. We would like to see all the alum coming together to really make it happen and make it again as strong institute in the medical side. And we have had alum in Pune who's planted 40,000 trees and intends to bring back here in Kanpur. So the last leg is fundamentally seeing that we really continue to make this a place to be. Thank you all for being there and part of this journey, and I'm happy to be here with this award. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bhargav.
Thank you, Professor Khandekar and Shri Bhargavji. Now, once again, I request Professor Animangshu Ghatak to kindly invite and recite and read the citation for our next Distinguished Service Awardee 2021, Shri Kusal Sachiti.
Our next Distinguished Services Awardee 2021 is Mr. Kusal Sachiti. I request Mr. Kusal Sachiti to please join us on stage. Mr. Kusal Sachiti received his master's degree in chemical engineering from Iit Kanpur in 1971. He currently serves as the founder and CEO of Galaxy USA Incorporated and Key Items Incorporated, global business enterprises in the diamond and jewelry sector. Mr. Sachiti's initiatives include mentoring and advisory roles at several institutions and arts and social welfare organizations in India, Nepal, and the United States. He is currently involved in various educational and technological initiatives at IIT Kanpur, IIT Gandhinagar, BITS Pilani, and other educational institutes. Honoring his exemplary service by becoming the Goodwill Ambassador in supporting the Institute's efforts in various ways, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Kusal Sachiti the Distinguished Services Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Kusal Sachiti. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque. Now I would like to request Mr. Kusal Sachiti to kindly present the acceptance speech.
I'm not much of a speaker because I really like to talk one-to-one, where I can genuinely exchange ideas at a level which is much more complex, and I'm not capable of that, of sharing with so many people. However, I would start with what I graduated from Pilani, BITS Pilani, and came here to do a master's. And what it did to me was I came here as a half-formed young man of ideas, essentially. But it expanded and crystallized my thinking. And I suddenly realized that whatever good has been done to me by my teachers, my professors in Pilani and Kanpur, I perhaps could do the same to the world in some ways by thinking and creating new ideas and sharing them with people and pricking people to think of ideas and convert them into some kind of reality. And that's what I've done all my life, and that's what I would continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachiti. Take the announcements.
Thank you, Professor Ghatak and Shri Sacheti ji. On behalf of the entire campus community, I would like to congratulate the Distinguished Service Awardees and take this opportunity to express our gratitude for their immense service to the Institute. Now moving on to our next segment of the Young Alumnus Award, Felicitations, I once again request Professor Jain Singh to introduce the Young Alumnus Award to our guests.
The Young Alumnus Award is bestowed upon our alumni under the age of 40 to recognize their significant contribution and exemplary recognition. The Young Alumnus Awardees distinguish themselves during the early stages of their career in their chosen domain, bringing glory to their alma mater. Since its inception in 2019, the award has been conferred upon our 4 alumni. I'm honored to share that Dr. Prathik Jain and Mr. Varun Kaithan are selected for the Young Alumnus Award for the year 2021. I request now Master of Ceremony to proceed with the felicitation program.
Thank you, Professor Jain Singh. Moving on, once again I call upon Head Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Menak Chaudhary, to kindly read the citation for the next Young Alumnus Awardee 2021, Dr. Prathik Jain.
Our first Young Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Dr. Prathik Jain. I request Dr. Prathik Jain to please join us on stage. Dr. Prathik Jain received his bachelor's degree in computer science and engineering from IIT Kanpur in 2004 and subsequently went on to earn his doctorate degree from the University of Texas in computer science and engineering in 2009. Dr. Jain currently serves as a senior research staff at Google AI in Bangalore, India. He has received multiple Best Paper awards at top machine learning and computer vision conferences, including Best Paper Award by the IEEE Signal Processing Society, Student Paper Awards at the International Conference on Machine Learning in 2007, IEEE Conference on Computer Vision and Pattern Recognition in 2008, and the Best Paper Runner-Up Award at the Siam International Conference on Data Mining in 2008. Honoring his stellar contributions to the field of machine learning and artificial intelligence, IIT Kanpur confers upon Dr. Prathik Jain the Young Alumnus Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Dr. Prathik Jain. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now I would like to request Dr. Prathik Jain to kindly present the acceptance speech.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Respected Chief Guest Dharmesh Pradhanji, Guest of Honor Radhakrishnan ji, Board of Governors, Deputy Director Sir, Deans, faculty members, very, very distinguished alumnus of this institute, and my dear friends. First, many thanks to Professor Chaudhary for the very generous citation. I'm pretty sure that personally I really don't deserve those kind words and would want to dedicate this citation and this award to my teachers here at IIT Kanpur, the lifelong friends that I made at this institute, and my ever supportive family. I came to the campus as a very confused but very wide-eyed 17-year-old student, and I left as a 4-year-older but still fairly confused, wide-eyed person. But there was one big difference, which was that I had a sense of myself. I had a sense of my calling. I had a sense of my direction that I wanted to take in my career. And I had a confidence that I had been taught by some of the finest minds in the world. I had worked with, I had collaborated with some of the brightest minds in the world. And that confidence and that training I took with myself to all my research career. And I felt that that confidence always served me whenever the situation looked very grim. Naturally, when you are recognized by such an integral part of your life, by by an institute of such excellence, it makes you very humble, it makes you quite delighted, and it also rejuvenates you. I'm really, really happy about it, and I feel like I am much more rejuvenated now. I feel like I will be working on much more ambitious questions, much more ambitious problems, and will make IIT Kanpur much more proud going forward as well. At Google Research India, I lead the machine learning optimization team, and I collaborate fairly closely with IIT Kanpur faculty members on various AI and machine learning related projects. I very strongly believe that AI and machine learning have a very strong role to play in Indian society, especially in governance, in infrastructure, in healthcare, and in general, like in a variety of walks of our life. But I also strongly believe that we cannot just take the technology that is being developed in other parts of the world and just adapt it in India. India requires much more India-centric view of AI. And I'm very, very happy to see that IIT Kanpur is at the forefront of this viewpoint. IIT Kanpur is leading this exciting journey. And I will be very delighted in making more contributions to this journey through various collaboration mechanisms. Given that I have this very excellent platform, I would be remiss if I don't acknowledge some of my finest teachers who shaped my entire research ideology, including Dr. S.K. Agarwal, who unfortunately passed away a few years back quite young, Dr. Manindra Agarwal, who is an algorithm stalwart, and Dr. Harish Karnik, who introduced me to the field of machine learning when it was not even hyped and it didn't have the type of, it was not the type of buzzword that it is right now. I would also like to thank my family, especially my sisters, my uncle, aunt who is present in audience today, and most importantly to my mother and father who made numerous sacrifices to ensure that I could pursue my passion in research and always believed in me when I myself did not believe in myself. And finally, thanks a lot to my wife and my kids who make every day much more fun, much more fulfilling. Yeah, thank you all for listening to me. Good evening, and I hope IIT Kanpur continues on this excellent journey. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jain.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary and Dr. Jain. Moving on, I would like to request Professor R.M. Hegde to kindly read the citation for the Young Alumnus Awardee, Mr. Varun Kaithan.
Our next Young Alumnus Awardee 2021 is Mr. Varun Kaithan. He is present with us virtually. Mr. Varun Kaithan received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from IIT Kanpur in 2009. He currently serves as the Chief Operations Officer and is the co-founder of the Urban Company. At the helm of affairs, Mr. Kaithan has been instrumental in building Urban Company into a network of 40,000 plus trained service professionals who have served over 5 million consumers across 35 plus cities globally. Mr. Kaithan is the three-time recipient of the Fortune 40 Under 40 Awards in 2018, 19, and 2021. He was also awarded the Economic Times 40 Under 40 for the year 2019. Honoring his stellar contributions in the field of entrepreneurship, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Varun Kaithan the Young Alumnus Award of 2021. I request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Varun Kaithan and Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plaque. I would like to request Mr. Varun Kaithan to kindly present his acceptance speech.
Namaste. My name is Varun Kaithan. It is a huge honor to be receiving the Young Alumnus Award from IIT Kanpur, and I would like to thank everyone on the jury for considering me worthy. The news of the award evoked emotions of joy similar to the news of getting accepted at the institute 16 years ago. I would like to firstly thank my parents for their support in my education and the courage to drop me off at IITK. Coming from a business family where nobody before me had been an engineer and there was never any discussion of what IIT is, I realized this was not easy. As a 17-year-old, my first days here at Kanpur were quite overwhelming, and the sheer smartness of everyone around made me question if I even belonged. Over the years, that changed. I thrived. I had the best time a teenager could hope for, and changed into a young kid full of ambition and courage as I stepped out. For this, I would like to thank the entire IIT community, my professors, my batchmates and seniors, the hostel teams, the SIS security teams, and the entire administration. It does take a village to turn 17-year-old kids into 21-year-old wiser kids. IIT Kanpur has given me some invaluable treasures. It gave me the confidence that anything new, however complex, could not only be understood but mastered with effort. It gave me wisdom that technology applied thoughtfully can transform the world we live in. These thoughts of wisdom and confidence have helped me in these past 12 years and will continue to be lessons for life. IIT Kanpur gave me friends for life who supported me when I was low, humbled me when I was high, humored me, and continue to be very, very thick. And every time I meet them, even after a break of a few years, it feels almost like the days back in 2007 and 8 when we would leave our hostel rooms and walk towards empty. IIT Kanpur gave me my life partner Manali, who taught me what it means to operate from the heart and not the mind. We continue to share our lives and everything that's in it, and she continues to make my life brighter every single day. This award motivates me to continue my very young journey and to make the Institute proud over the next many, many years ahead of giving me its name, not once, but twice now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Varun.
Thank you, Professor Hegre. And I would like to thank Mr. Varun Kaithan for the message and would like to once again congratulate him and Dr. Jain for their achievements and wish them more success in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next part of the program, we will felicitate the awardee of the Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award, which is conferred on an alumnus from any of the IITs for upholding human values. I request Professor Jain Singh to kindly come and give the more details about the award for this year, 2021, to our guests.
IIT Kanpur instituted the Satyendra K. Dubey Memorial Award in memory of its alumnus, Mr. Satyendra K. Dubey, who was an IES officer and had graduated from the Department of Civil Engineering at IIT Kanpur in 1994. He sacrificed his life while upholding the integrity and dignity of his profession. This award is conferred every year to an alumnus or alumna of any IIT who has distinguished himself or herself by displaying the highest professional integrity in upholding human values. Since its inception in 2005, this prestigious award has been conferred upon 15 alumni from across IITs. It's my pleasure and pride to announce that this year's SKD awardee is Mr. Karnal Singh. I now request the Master of Ceremony to proceed with the felicitation program. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Singh. Now, once again, I request Professor Menak Chaudhary to kindly read the citation for the Satyen K. Dubey Memorial Awardee 2021, Shri Karnal Singh.
Our Satyendra Kumar Dubey Awardee of 2021 is Mr. Karnal Singh. I request Mr. Karnal Singh to please join us on stage. Mr. Karnal Singh received his master's degree in computer science from IIT Kanpur in 1981 and subsequently went on to pursue a degree in law from VM Salgaonkar College of Law. Mr. Singh, an IPS officer of 1984 batch, retired as the Chief of Enforcement Directorate in 2018 after 34 years of distinguished public service. He led many successful investigations in counter-terrorism, anti-money laundering, and anti-corruption. Honoring his exemplary service to the nation and his unbending integrity in upholding human values while serving as an IPS officer, IIT Kanpur confers upon Mr. Karnal Singh the Satyendra Kumar Dubey Memorial Award of 2021. I would now like to request Professor Abhay Karandikar to felicitate Mr. Karnal Singh. And request Dr. Radhakrishnan to present the silver plate. Now I'd like to request Mr. Karnal Singh to kindly present the acceptance speech.
Honorable Education Minister, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, Chairman of the Board, Mr. Radhakrishnan, Director of the IIT Kanpur, Mr. Abhay, Dean of the Institute, distinguished alumni, and students and family members, I am humbled and delighted and honored to receive this prestigious award from my alma mater. This award would not have been possible at all for me. I was a child belonging to a farming family, had devoted my time in the childhood in the fields, in the sun and sand. I could never thought of doing engineering if my father was not coercing me to do it. And then the contribution of the government and public, because I could not have afforded the costly education. I'm really thankful to the government and the public of this country who can uphold the education for the masses in this country. This award is given for the human values, and therefore it is not for me. It is for the values inculcated by me, into me by various people. I dedicated this award to them to begin with, my grandmother, who inculcated me the fearlessness. She would go to even cremation ground at 12 at night to show that there is no ghost. My father, who told me one thing, that the values of what you say to someone is very, very important. Whatever you commit, even in words, do it. And I learned emotional intelligence from my father. My mother inculcated me in the spiritualism and non-attachment to the worldly affairs. My family, my wife Renu, she stood with me in every difficulties I faced. My children, Shruti, Kriti and Archit, they stood with me and they were critic of me also. I learned many things and I dedicated to my subordinates who stood with me, who fought with me in fight against terrorism. My teams had worked against the jihadi terrorism, which was coming from across the, that is from Pakistan. Both the times, in 1996 and 97 and in 2005 when Indian Mujahideen was there, it was my team which could eliminate it, which could caught it. My teams in Enforcement Directorate, which worked against mighty people. Take anybody, it is Vijay Mallya or Nirav Modi, a large number of people, but they stood with me. And this award actually goes to all those people who taught me. I come to IIT Kanpur. A lot of things I learned here. The one was, we have professors of great stature, Professor Rajaraman, Professor Keshav Nuri, Professor Dhandekar, Professor Shastra Buddhe, Professor Sethi. They will teach so good. Even today I feel I am competent to handle computer science. And that helped me during my career in implementing various schemes, whether it is transparency in the recruitment, command and control system in Delhi Police, the creation of cyber labs. It helped all the way. That gave the confidence. And the professors were so humble. If we would ask them any question and we are moving on road, they will sit on some stairs and start teaching. That humility doesn't come so easily, and they inculcated that humility in us. I did graduation from Delhi College of Engineering, where most of the people are from Delhi. But I came when IIT Kanpur, 11 persons were in my class, and all from different parts of the country. One can see and appreciate the culture of different parts of the country. It gives a unification. I played hockey here, represented the institute. I was staying in Hall 4. There was a unique camaraderie. Hall 4 had the people who are doing either MTech or PhD. So whenever there was any match, if anybody has ever played or not, that was immaterial. They will gather in the ground, they will cheer, they will make a strategy also for the players, that how you should play. That was the camaraderie in the whole hostel. I'm really thankful. I'm thankful to my batchmates, Mr. Deepak Sharlekar and Dr. Pramod, who nominated my name for this award. I'm also thankful to the committee who decided, and I also congratulate all the awardees. IIT Kanpur is a great institution. It brings humility, it brings the confidence in you. That is more important, the confidence to tackle any situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Singh.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, and thank you, Shri Karnalji. We are truly proud of your commitment to duty and are confident that you will continue to inspire those around you. And now, before moving on to the next segment in our program, I congratulate the recipients of all the awards and wish them many more accomplishments in the future. I am sure they will continue to contribute towards the growth of the Institute and help it attain greater heights. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, in a path-breaking initiative, Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur has established the Chandrakanta Keshwan Center for Energy Policy and Climate Solutions to assist policymakers with practical solutions to the problems of climate change. India, as a signatory to the Paris Climate Agreement, will need to develop, adapt, and implement technologies to reduce emissions and grow sustainably. The Center aims to spearhead the development of technology and policy solutions to help India and the world combat climate change. The Center for Energy Policy and Climate Solutions is being set up by Sri Sudhakar Keshwan in the fond memory of his mother, Dr. Chandrakanta Keshwan. Dr. Chandrakanta Keshwan completed her PhD in acoustical physics from Allahabad University in 1942. She was a postdoctoral scholar at MIT, USA. She later worked with All India Radio as an acoustical engineer and an administrator, and pioneered the entry of Indian women in the fields of science and engineering. She has been a role model for numerous Indian women. We are grateful for the endowment for the center from our distinguished alumnus, Sri Sudhakar Keshwan, and his wife, Srimati Alka Keshwan, to IIT Kanpur. Sri Sudhakar Keshwan graduated from IIT Kanpur with a BTech in Chemical Engineering in 1976 and is a leading entrepreneur. Now I would like to request Dr. K. Radhakrishnan to kindly unveil the plaque which marks the launch of the Chandrakanta Center. The video, please.
I'm very delighted that we have established Chandrakanta Keshwan Center for Energy Policy and Climate Solutions with a very generous support from Mr. Sudhakar Keshwan. The center will work on research issues related to energy policy and climate solutions and help India address climate change related problems. The center will act as a platform where scientists, technologists, policy makers can come together and deliberate and discuss on energy policy and climate solutions for India. We expect to engage in some of the grassroots initiatives, outreach activities, and also research-based approach to policy making. The center will also see how IIT Kanpur can become carbon neutral in the next few years. We are very grateful to Mr. Sudhakar Keshwan for making a very generous contribution to set up this center, and we expect that this center will become the nodal center for any energy policy research in the country.
Namaskar. I am delighted to support the establishment of the Chandrakanta Keshwan Center for Energy Policy and Climate Solutions at IIT Kanpur. It is entirely appropriate that the center be named after my mother, Dr. Chandrakanta Keshwan. She was a pioneer for women in science and engineering. She was born in 1918. She received a PhD in acoustical physics from Allahabad University in 1942. She went on to work in science and engineering for the rest of her career by publishing research papers and participating in the administration of India's national broadcaster, All India Radio. She was also a Fulbright postdoctoral scholar at MIT in Cambridge, Massachusetts in the early 1950s. Now a word on the focus of the work at the center. Climate change is upon us, and the impact on India is going to be significant. Adapting to the change will require innovative technology solutions that are implementable in society. I have no doubt that our technology professionals, including the ones at IIT Kanpur, will provide many engineering solutions. We must pay attention to how we can ensure that these solutions can be communicated and adopted by society at large. It will be critical to focus on the design, ease of adoption, consumer acceptance, and communication of these solutions so that citizens can use them easily and the impact is meaningful. the center hopes to play a key role in this effort. I would like to thank and applaud Professor Abhay Karandikar, Director of IIT Kanpur, for his leadership in committing IIT Kanpur to becoming a carbon neutral campus in the next 5 years. The center will take a lead in planning and implementing this effort in collaboration with the task force set up for this purpose. If we at IIT Kanpur can serve as a demonstration pilot for this goal, then we can lead by example. Let me end by thanking Professor Ashish Garg, the head of the Department of Sustainable Energy Engineering at IIT Kanpur, and his colleagues on this initiative. We are well on our way to becoming a leader on energy policy and climate solutions in India and beyond. It's a privilege to endow a critical mission at this great institution to which I owe so much. Thank you.
On behalf of the department, I sincerely thank Mr. Sudhakar Keshwan and his family for their generous support in establishing Chandrakanta Keshwan Center for Energy Policy and Climate Solutions. The center will play a lead role in developing technological solutions and in formulating policy frameworks to deal with the challenges posed by climate change. As part of its activities, the center will promote collaboration between various stakeholders. The center will place strong emphasis on outreach and communication of policy matters for a wider and better dissemination of technology development. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your message. And I'm sure the center will play a vital role in showcasing the Institute's commitment to the cause and helping the country move on to the path of carbon emission-free future. And now, ladies and gentlemen, in another path-breaking initiative, IIT Kanpur announced the setting up of a language center to prioritize Hindi and other Indian languages on campus and enable language-disabled students from various parts of India to seamlessly integrate with the socio-academic environment of the Institute and help in employment opportunities and personal growth. The Shivani Center is being set up by a distinguished alumnus, Sri Mukesh Pant, in fond memory of his mother, late Srimati Gaura Pant, a writer and novelist who is widely known as Shivani. Shivani ji is an institution in Hindi literature and is one of the most popular Hindi writers of the 20th century. She has written over 40 novels, innumerable stories, and hundreds of articles. Her most famous works include Chaudah Phere, Krishna Kali, Rati Vilap, and Vish Kanya, to just name a few. She was awarded the Padma Shri by the Government of India for her contributions in Hindi literature in the year 1982. The center is being established with a grant of $1 million from Mickey and Vinita Pant Charitable Foundation. The video, please.
I'm very delighted that we are setting up Shivani Center for Nurture and Integration of Hindi and other Indian languages. I am really grateful to Mr. Mukesh Pant for his generous contributions towards establishing this center in the memory of his mother Shivani, who was a famous Hindi author. As all of you know that languages are very important for the educational and cultural development. Students, particularly the undergraduate students, when they come to the institute from different parts of the country, we have observed that these students face challenges in navigating through the English language education. This center is expected to provide a soft landing platform for such students and help in nurturing and integrating Hindi and other Indian languages. I believe that this center will also help in preparing contents, and particularly the technical contents in Hindi and also as well as in other Indian languages. Today, the students with knowledge of Hindi and other Indian languages and plus their associated technological skill can also help in developing technology which will be useful in a multilingual country and society such as ours. I believe that this center will also fulfill many of the objectives and recommendations which have been enshrined in National Education Policy NEP 2020.
नमस्कार, मैं हूँ मुकेश पंत। आई एम ए वेरी प्राउड alumnus of IIT कानपुर और आज मैं बहुत आभारी हूँ प्रोफेसर करंदीकर और IIT टीम की ओर कि शिवानी सेंटर का उद्घाटन होने जा रहा है। शिवानी जी आप जानते ही हैं प्रख्यात हिंदी लेखिका भी थी और उनका अधिकांश जीवन उत्तराखंड और उत्तर प्रदेश में बीता। करीब 40 बरस वो लखनऊ में रही, कानपुर भी आती जाती रहती थी। जब मैं कानपुर कैंपस में था वो कई बार आई, उन्होंने हिंदी में साहित्य पर लेक्चर भी दिया, गोष्ठी भी अटेंड करी। मेरी 3 बहनें हैं, बीना जोशी, मृणाल पांडे, ईरा पांडे और मैं और मेरी पत्नी विनीता। हम सबका ये मानना है कि हिंदुस्तान में अंग्रेजी सीखना, बोलना, जानना बहुत अच्छी बात है, इसमें कोई बुराई नहीं है। लेकिन अंग्रेजी ठीक से नहीं बोल पाना कोई बुरी बात नहीं है, उसमें भी बहुत अच्छाई हो सकती है। तो हमारा ये मानना है कि अगर ये सेंटर उन स्टूडेंट्स की मदद कर सके जो कि अंग्रेजी मीडियम स्कूल से नहीं है, तो न सिर्फ शिवानी जी और हिंदी साहित्य का सम्मान होगा, लेकिन उन स्टूडेंट्स की भी मदद की जा सकती है। और यही नहीं, क्योंकि अधिकांश हिंदुस्तान में स्टूडेंट्स अंग्रेजी मीडियम स्कूल से नहीं होते हैं, तो हमारा कैचमेंट एरिया बहुत बढ़ सकता है, जिससे कि स्टूडेंट्स IIT में आ सकते हैं और आगे फिर स्टूडेंट्स इंस्टीट्यूट का नाम भी रोशन करेंगे। तो मैं आज इनॉग्रेशन पर आप सबको मुबारकबाद देता हूँ, आपको बेस्ट विशेस देता हूँ और मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि आने वाले समय में हमारे सेंटर सफलता की ओर निरंतर बढ़ता रहे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
शिवानी केंद्र की ओर से आप सबको सादर नमस्कार। आप सबसे नम्र निवेदन है कि आप अंग्रेजी के इस्तेमाल की ओर न भागते हुए हिंदी एवं अन्य भारतीय भाषाओं का प्रयोग कर गौरवान्वित महसूस करें। भाषा जितनी सहज और सरल हो, उसे अपनाने में उतनी ही आसानी होती है। शिवानी केंद्र IIT कानपुर दूरस्थ स्थान के छात्र छात्राओं की सहायता हेतु प्रतिबद्ध है। शिवानी केंद्र का ध्येय साहित्य, तकनीकी, शैक्षिक पहलुओं में योगदान एवं व्यक्तिगत परामर्श संबंधी मुद्दों का निवारण प्रदान कर IIT कानपुर के छात्र छात्राओं की उन्नति दिशा का मार्ग प्रदर्शित करना है। आइए हम सब जुड़कर इस महत्वपूर्ण उद्देश्य को मंजिल तक पहुंचाने में सहयोग दें। धन्यवाद।
नमस्कार, शिवानी केंद्र IIT कानपुर की तरफ से मैं आपका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करता हूं। शिवानी केंद्र प्रसिद्ध हिंदी लेखिका श्रीमती गौरव पंत, जिन्हें हम उनके उपनाम शिवानी के नाम से जानते हैं, की स्मृति में स्थापित किया गया है। शिवानी केंद्र का अधिदेश हिंदी एवं अन्य भारतीय भाषाओं की पृष्ठभूमि से आने वाले छात्रों की सहायता करना है। जैसा कि आप सभी जानते हैं कि IIT कानपुर जैसे तकनीकी संस्थानों में आने के बाद हिंदी एवं अन्य भारतीय भाषाओं की पृष्ठभूमि से आने वाले छात्रों को कई प्रकार की शैक्षिक एवं भावात्मक समस्याओं का सामना करना पड़ता है। कई बार ये छात्र शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में पिछड़ जाते हैं या फिर अपने आसपास के समाज में पूरी तरीके से इंटीग्रेट नहीं हो पाते हैं या पूरी तरीके से मिलजुल नहीं पाते हैं, जिसके कारण उन्हें अपने छात्र जीवन में तमाम समस्याओं का सामना करना पड़ता है। शिवानी केंद्र इन सभी समस्याओं और इनके विभिन्न पहलुओं से जूझने के लिए, इन छात्र छात्राओं की मदद करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। हम विश्वस्त हैं कि IIT कानपुर प्रशासन और हमारे प्राध्यापकों के सहयोग से हम अपने लक्ष्यों को प्राप्त करने में सफल होंगे। हम ये कहना चाहते हैं कि शिवानी केंद्र के माध्यम से हिंदी या कोई भी अन्य भारतीय भाषा की पृष्ठभूमि इन छात्रों के समग्र विकास में बाधक सिद्ध होने के बजाय और भी लाभदायी सिद्ध होगी। यही हमारा एक प्रमुख उद्देश्य है और जिस उद्देश्य के लिए हम प्रतिबद्ध हैं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir. We are confident that the center will help in promoting better integration and communication among students which will help them in their careers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request Deputy Director Professor Ganesh to introduce Honorable Minister of Education, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India, Shri Dharmendra Pradhanji, to our guests.
Indeed, it's an honor to introduce Sri Dharmendra Pradhanji, Honorable Minister of Education and Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of India. Sri Pradhanji is known for his mission mode of execution of government plans, popularly called the Ujjwala Man. Sri Pradhanji is credited with the success of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana launched by the Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas. Sri Pradhanji is also known for his reforms in the hydrocarbon sector, in the energy transition decarbonization efforts, and his efforts in bridging the skill gap for the Indian youth. Currently, his efforts at the Ministry of Education are aimed at making education affordable, accessible, and equitable. Due to his pre-commitment, Sri Pradhanji could not join us in person for this event. However, he has shared his recorded video message, which we would play now. We are grateful to him for his continued support to the Institute and for his wishes and advice on the occasion of the Foundation Day.
Dr. K. Radhakrishnan, Chairperson, Board of Governors, Professor Abhay Karandikar-ji, Director, IIT Kanpur, esteemed awardees, eminent alumni of IIT Kanpur, distinguished guests, good evening. I am delighted to join you for the Foundation Day celebration of this esteemed institute. My congratulations and good wishes to distinguished recipients of the Institute Fellowship, the Alumnus, Young Alumnus, and Satyendra Kumar Dubey Memorial Awardees. My congratulations to my colleague Sri Ashwini Vaishnavji, Union Cabinet Minister for Communications, Electronics and Information Technology and Railways for the Distinguished Alumnus Award. 62 years ago in 1959, IIT Kanpur embarked on this journey fueled by intellectual curiosity and commitment to excellence. It is most gratifying to note that IIT Kanpur pioneered a globally known paradigm of engineering education. This has been emulated by many other institutes across the country and has encouraged many to choose engineering as a career option. Over the years, IIT Kanpur has remained at the forefront of teaching and research both nationally and internationally. The primality theorem propounded by one of the faculty members and some students has been globally acclaimed as a landmark contribution. Professor Manindra Agarwal and Nitin Saxena went on to receive the prestigious Gödel Prize for their significant contribution in theoretical computer science. Several of the faculty and alumni have received multiple well-deserved recognitions at the national and international level. IIT Kanpur has been helping the nation to fight the COVID-19 pandemic through various R&D activities such as the design, development and large-scale production of high-end yet affordable invasive ICU ventilators. National Sutra model of the accurate prediction of COVID-19 spread even up to the district level. Unmanned aerial vehicles for the delivering drugs and vaccines in partnership with Indian Council of Medical Research. Today, IIT Kanpur also has a thriving incubation and innovation ecosystem. I am happy to learn that recently the technology business incubator FAST has achieved a historic milestone of crossing 100 plus startups in the portfolio with a combined valuation of more than 1,000 crores. FAST, working in close association with Government of Uttar Pradesh, has received support for establishment of a Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence in Noida and Center of Excellence in Agritech at IIT Kanpur. I am happy that one of the academic front, IIT Kanpur has introduced transformational reform in line with the National Education Policy 2020. The concept of borderless academics has been made a reality through research collaboration and student exchange program that have been set up with some of the best universities in the US, Australia, Singapore, Japan, Taiwan and Germany. The alumni of IIT Kanpur have excelled not only in the field of technology and research but also across different fields, including in the government. The alumni have a great zeal of entrepreneurship and have established multinational companies, including Infosys. The value this institute accorded to the alumni is evident from the fact that the Foundation Day celebration is dedicated to the distinguished alumni of the institute. While the institute has created a global impact through its academic and research, it remains firmly connected to the national agenda of development. And I am certain that the impact will multiply in the years to come. Once again, heartiest congratulations to all the eminent awardees and the best wishes to the IIT Kanpur for many more success in the coming years. Thank you, friends. Namaskar.
Thank you, Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to an end to the 62nd Institute Foundation Day celebrations today. I request Professor Debashish Kundu, Dean of Faculty Affairs, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
It is my pleasant duty to give the vote of thanks to all the people without whose support this event would not have been possible. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. K. Radhakrishnan for his gracious presence. I would like to thank distinguished awardees, institute fellows, and all the other guests for their presence. Directorate and their office staff members for their constant support, DORD and their office staff members, DOA and their office staff members, DOSA and their office staff members, DORA and their office staff members, DOAD and their office staff members, DOFA office staff members, Mrs. Khandekar and Mrs. Mishra, VH staff members and lecture hall staff members. My sincere thanks to Professor Fani and the Infosys staff, IITK foundations, media personnel, all the students and the family. Finally, my sincere thanks to my associate DOFA Professor Arun Kumar Saha and Assistant Registrar Mr. Amal Par for their unconditional support to make this event possible. Okay, and finally, I'd like to put my sincere thanks to everybody and wishing all of you happy Diwali. Thank you. Okay, now we'll go for this national anthem.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. With this, we conclude our program today. Thank you all for being here. Okay. I would request all the awardees to kindly stay back for the photograph. And fountain. Okay. And after the photograph, I would like all to please proceed for the inauguration of the fountain. Thank you very much, all of you. And congratulations once again to all the awardees. Have a good evening. Namaskar.